Alright, um, I'm back. So, my group royal package came in, even though it was said it was coming Monday, it came in today, so that's awesome. Um, what else? Where were we? Alright, live control panels. Go. Open stream bit rate. Okay. There is no if it started. If I okay. There we go. Today is a Friday, but it doesn't feel like a Friday. It feels like more like a Sunday. Isn't that weird? The Friday feels like a Sunday. I don't know if it's just the heat outside or yeah. A Friday. Anyway, we're gonna be chilling, watch some Drift Masters, and then after that go to work, make some money. That will be our day today. Well, and obviously I'll be setting this up right here as well. It's the horn delete plate that just came in. I don't know why they wrap it around like a burrito. Yeah. Look, like, it's just this. But they wrap it around so much, like a burrito, it's insane. Okay. So this is it right here. This is going right here. Okay. Now, I'm a little confused because this blue is a little lighter than the blue I wanted. I'm not even gonna care anymore. Like, I just don't care. I just got the plate. Let's get it over with. Like, the blue. What up, chat? The blue I wanted, as you can see, look at this blue from my quick release right here. You see that type of blue? It's like a dark blue. That's the type of blue I wanted, but this is what they send. They're saying this blue, which is a lighter blue. It's like they keep messing up. First the wheel, now this. It's just, it is what it is. I'm not even going to contact them or bother them. They're probably having a crazy rough day already because they had a bunch of weird issue happening at the company. So it is what it is. I just happened to order at the wrong time. I'm just going to let it go. If I ever wanted the actual color, we can just order it again. It's not that much money. I'm not even going to stress out about it. If it came, let's add it on and get it over with. I mean, it does match my gloves, so because my gloves has a red, a dark blue, and then a light blue right here where it says GoPro. So in a way, I don't know, because this is not the one I wanted, but it is what it is. I don't care. It is. Let's just get this. Let's put it on. Let's watch some Drift Masters and fill my face up with chocolate because I feel like crap today, but still grateful to be alive. Alright, let's start this up.
Next level, leagues above the devil. Flying higher than they said I would, they label me a rebel. Bogota barely as dope as me. Success the only thing that give me dopamine. A legend, the only thing that I'm supposed to be. Everything's the only thing that's owed to me. Yeah, I want it all, my baby. I didn't come to watch, I came to ball, my baby.
Well, here we go. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 3 of Drift Masters 2025. My name is Ian Waddington, and you are joining us live from Alhama in Finland at the Power Park. Yep, that's right. We are in a theme park. We have got a drift track inside a theme park. It'll never make sense, even from the very first day we ever come here. My name is Ian Waddington, as I say, and I'm joined by my good friend, Jacob Gettins. Jacob, welcome to Finland, your first time here. This track is crazy.
It is. It's absolutely wild. I mean, I'm loving it so far. It's so cool how it's situated in here, and just the background, it's amazing.
It certainly is amazing, and it is an amazing round of all the rounds that we've got coming up and been to. Obviously, round 1 in Rome was cancelled, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances. We moved on to Madrid in Spain, where Oliver Randalou took the win. We're here in Finland for round 3. Then round 4, we head to Ireland, to Mondello Park for round 4. Then round 5, we head to Riga, baby. It's Latvia once again. Round 6, we go to the Iron City, the Drift Island in Ferropolis in Germany, and then we head off the season at the PGA Narodowe in Warsaw, the capital of Poland, where Red Bull and Drift Masters come together to create one hell of a show. And what a show it's going to be. But let's take a look back to the show that we had just a few weeks ago, when Oliver Randalou stole that show and stood top step on the podium after many years of trying, Jacob.
Yeah, it all really came together for him, and it's so cool when you see a driver kind of go through their time, put in their paces, and then, you know, get to do this finally. It's such a cool experience to be able to call those runs.
It certainly is. And our lady on the ground, who gets behind the scenes, gets all the good info, is here this weekend once again with us. Becky Evans is down the paddock with Oliver Randalou.
Absolutely, guys. A pleasure to be back here at Drift Masters. Oliver, you are our current points leader. It was your first ever win when we went to Spain at the last round. We're now back in Finland. It wasn't the best round here for you last year. Are you feeling the pressure coming into this, or are you still cool as a cucumber?
No, the pressure is on, absolutely. Like every round, I gained a lot of confidence from the Spain, but at the moment I'm concentrating only on this round.
Fantastic. Well, we're going to throw it back up to our commentators now. Guys, what do you think?
Thank you very much, Becky. Yeah, the target is on his back. The pressure is on his shoulders this weekend as Oliver Randalou leads those points going forward into this round. Here we go. This is the weekend schedule. Qualifying kicks off right here in Finland. And then we got the qualifying showdown at 7:15 p.m. local time. Then tomorrow, exclusively on Red Bull TV, you can tune in for Top 32, which kicks off at 12:45 p.m. And then the main show, the big one, the bit that everybody wants to be in, our Top 16. But let's have a look at what these guys have got to face, because yes, we are in a theme park. Is it technical? Is it tight? Is it dangerous? Well, yes, to all of the above, Jacob. They come off the start line, off of that new start line procedure, through the gears, third gear, flick the car across the circuit into that first outside zone. Then there's a complete wall run here with a solid concrete wall that does not move unless you hit it really, really hard. Then we go into that inside zone 3. Then you can see those 3 hash marks. Keep away from that, get onto the wall and outside zone 4. Then down the hill, over the bump, over that bit that unsettles the car for the outside zone. Back up the hill they go, where the transition and the decel's done, before the final outside zone, up high on that bank, against the wall and across the line. It seems really easy, but it isn't that easy from what we've seen. Let's take a look at the qualifying rules, what our drivers have got to do this afternoon in qualifying to get into Top 32 tomorrow and into the main show. So 2 runs of qualifying, the best run counts. Top 32 advance to the finals, up to 8 championship points for the best 8 qualifiers, and then the qualifying showdown, which is coming up later on, with the top 4 qualifiers face off in battles. Yeah, that's right, we put these guys under pressure straight away, even in qualifying, head to head, to see what they're made of, to get those extra points. Let's take a look at the start list though, because we've got some wild cards this weekend, some locals that are throwing their hat into the ring, and as you can see, some of those guys down there warming up tyres already. For me, one of the main names that stands out right away is Juna Warninen, coming in, a wildcard driver, part of Team Black Smoke. Good to see another one. David Garvey making a return. We see his brother on the grid many years ago driving, but unfortunately had to retire. And then we get into the normal suspects, should we call them, the normal faces we've seen. You can see Jakob Kroll in there, Mika Keski-Corby, Dave Egan, Cherba, Zachariel Correa having problems with the car. Ponas Harman nearly didn't make it this event because his sponsors having financial issues. Jason Benet, the man that I put all my money on in Spain, didn't pull through, but hey, he's still in the mix. Connor Falvey sits inside the top 8 in the championship at the moment, and then we get into the thick end of the deal. James Dean, Shanahan, Oliver Randalou leading those points as we move forward. Well, this is it. The time for talking is almost over. These guys have had a lot of practice over the last morning. Now it's time to get it all done. Let's head to qualifying. Well, here we go. The nerves start to set in now as drivers sit on the line ready to rock and roll. And as we say, the time for talking is over and it's time to prove yourself on that global stage. As we see Emi Kamula from Finland step up in this BMW E87 2JZ, 1,000 horsepower, but he's had problems with the car. What can he do, Jacob, as he fires it through? Looks for that outside zone, picks it up nice and early. And tags the wall instantly. Now upsets the car. He gets himself back into it, rubs the back bumper, but you can see he's got issues. That rear wheel got a lot of toe in and I think toe out, sorry, and he's going to struggle. You can see him dropping those zones, struggling to make it up. Listen, this track is difficult enough, but when you adjust your alignment on the first outside zone, that's going to make it even harder, Jacob.
Yeah, incredibly unforgiving. I mean, with all of the walls that you've got here, I mean, it's a very, very flowy track, which is great, but when you have a flowy track like that, if you miss anything, if you're off just by a little bit, it's going to bite you. And when you've got this much concrete lining every single corner, it's going to bite really hard. And we saw that right off the bat there with Emi. Just, I mean, it looked good. And you can see after that initiation, just carrying that little bit too much momentum, gets into the wall. And yeah, hard to see. I always love a driver, though, that gets their foot back on the pedal, really starts to push it around, but pretty clear on that one. It's going to end up being a 0.
Yes, certainly is going to be a 0, and our judges deeming him, you know, straightening, making a collision with the wall, not filling any of the zones. That will be a 0, and our judges for this weekend, as always, will be David Callas-Vernon and Matti Gedges. So we're back on the line with Matthias Lindell in this beautiful BMW. Had a crash earlier with Timo Potola in practice, and those guys said the suspension turret moved back 80 centimetres and they had to get a tractor to pull it straight, and they fabricated some stuff in the paddock to get the car back out on track. This man actually helped build this track 2 days ago with the forklift that repaired his car, and he's doing a fine job so far as he fires into these last 2 outside zones, gets high up on the bank, into the wall, tags the wall, upsets the car a little bit, but gets the job done.
Yeah, really solid run other than the last outside zone, but everything looked really good. I mean, as somebody who sets up the track, you think they'd have a lot of experience in figuring out the flow, but yeah, just able to get through that first outside zone, inside clips, everything looks solid. Maybe a bit too close on that no-go zone, where you see those 3 lines after a second outside zone. That's kind of the no-go. The judges have set that up to have you come off the wall a little bit, and then these 3 lines you're seeing there, all in succession, they want your front wheel coming through that section. So the flow here is incredible. You're going to hear us talk a lot about it, but a lot of that has to do with the judges really looking at the best way to get around the track and ensuring that that happens to the lead driver. And when we get into tandem, it's going to lead to some incredible chase runs because that chase driver is able to see where that lead car needs to go.
Exactly that, yeah. And judges saying, last night in the briefing, we spent quite a while in the driver's briefing.
Yeah, we did.
And, you know, these guys, the judges making a few changes throughout the year, just perfecting what these guys want to see, being way more transparent with their explanation on the line driving, so that drivers have no excuse when it comes to after qualifying saying, well, hey, why didn't I score, you know, a 99-point run? And the judges can go back and say, well, look, this is what the information we had, and this is where we see your car. So that's the score. So there we go, at 77.5 for Matthias in that BMW E46. So he gets himself a score on the board as we go back to the start line. It's going to be Tony Ajalto as he sits in there, cool, calm. Look at him, dialed, been out for practice, and I think he was out in practice more than anybody else. Didn't want to stop driving the track, get himself dialed in as Tony now fires that car through. Look at that, on the curb, a little too deep, slows the car down on the foot brake as he gets himself into this outside zone. Now Johnny's saying on that long outside zone, that second outside zone, just rubbing the bumper is where they wanted to see the cars. As you can see him avoiding those inner lines. Oh, a bit too deep that time. Tags the wheel on the wall, and I think that's going to be a D-bead.
Yeah,
Or did he keep it in? Actually kept it on the tyre on the rim as he comes through that final outside zone across the line. I thought that was going to be a big accident.
it looked like the whole lip of the wheel came off. Yeah, you saw that. There it goes.
It popped.
There it goes.
Wow, how lucky was that?
That's, I mean, good timing. Good timing, Ian. Yeah, man.
We both see the lip of the wheel come off, and I was like, I don't think the tyre, I think it's going to DB the tyre. And then after it finished the run, the tyre DB'd. That was insane. So here we go. Look at this, just tickling the rear bumper along the wall. Exactly what the judges wanted to see in that outside zone. As he comes through, though, a little bit too deep here.
There it is.
And there's the piece of the wheel.
Yeah, and this really started going wrong the zone before.
Yeah.
You could see just the setup was a little bit incorrect coming off there, but I mean, great job in keeping into it. It sucks too, brand new car for him this season, and I mean, it's like getting a new helmet. First thing you got to do is drop it, get some scratches on it, get it out of the way. But yeah, I mean,
and it'll be
0.
a 0.
Okay.
I guess the tag along the wall from the judges wasn't what they wanted to see. Yeah. Oh, the wavering. So they're saying they're signalling to us. We're in our own little room. We're not near. We can't hear them this round. We're not in the same room, which is nice. We don't have to, be too close to them because they are, as always, grumpy.
Yeah.
And in charge.
As they are.
And in charge.
Very much in charge.
Yeah. So there we go. That was the D bead. Just popped over the line. I mean, but still a 0. Tagging the wall, upset the front of the car. Had to make a correction. Judges deeming that a 0. We go back to the line. The man that I spoke about a moment ago, Juna Warnanen, in this Mercedes-Benz 198 diesel powered, part of the team Black Smoke Racing, comes off the line for his debut here at Drift Masters. Big clutch kick, flicks that car across the circuit. Nice little dab of the handbrake, gets himself into that zone, enters that zone very nice and stays in it all the way around, puts the back bumper to the wall now. Wheels in, just tickles his wheel on that no-go zone, and judge is saying you can be close to it, but you can't be there. But he's gone super wide, and he's going to throw a wheel off track as he now makes his way back into it, back up to the wall and across the line.
Yeah, so one of the updates with this track in particular is they've updated the rule book to now be 3 wheels off is officially an incomplete, but I think you're going to get to a point where it may be considered an unchaseable run before you get to that point. But this run did look really solid off the bat. I mean, any car that's rolling black smoke immediately I'm a big fan of. But look at the arc here. You can see how difficult it is to just hold that car through there. But he does an amazing job looking really stable. And one of the fastest runs we've seen so far, really quick in that diesel Mercedes. But ultimately, that big dirt drop, that is going to hurt the chances. That is going to be difficult when it comes to the line side of things. And, line is scored very, very heavily. So a mistake like that can cost. But we'll see. We'll see how this ends up playing out.
Yeah, we certainly will. And as we see some nice slow-mo shots there of Warren making his way around the circuit from our
You watching?
slow-mo camera. Look at that. You just see the front wheel picking up the tyre and flicking it off as all the body panels flex under speed. Yeah, I think the part of that track that really upsets a lot of guys, and we've seen it in the past, is that compression of suspension as they come down into that zone where those 3 hash marks are, and it'll be a 67 for Juna. Those hash marks that you mentioned, they need to go between the 2 front wheels. That compression there always puts a lot of guys off. It pushes them wide, makes them drop a wheel in the dirt, and then they have to transition, get the transition done before the next outside zone, and they can decel in the zone. Back off the line we go. It's going to be Ville Kalkinen through the gears in this incredible hand delivery S14 as he puts that car to angle. 1.5 JZ, 3.4 litre, 800 horsepower S14 makes his way around the circuit, doing a good job so far. Just catches a wheel on that no-go zone, but stays in it as Kalkinen now comes down the hill. And you can see the compression there and the suspension, what I was just talking about. He goes wide there, but he gets the job done. But was it too late of a transition? Across the line he goes.
Yeah, you don't really realize how much elevation change
Yeah, with TRX has 200
and
in
just
the
how
dash,
this
the
track
track
changes throughout the run until you get here. That camera angle showed it really well, but
crazy.
me who's been watching this for a while before, I didn't realize how much elevation change was here, and it does disrupt the car, and this makes sure that drivers and teams, look at that, hands off the wheel completely for that catch though. That is a very difficult thing to do, but pulls it off with grace. And yeah, it's just a very dynamic track. You don't realize it until you really start scrutinizing it. And no, it's not going to be an easy track for drivers to set up.
You watching?
Look at how calm he is throughout this run. The hands off the wheel too. I mean, you got to let it slide through, but to go, hands wide.
Full let go guy.
I know, full let go.
Yeah. Look at that nice entry into the outside zone as he puts foot to floor. Flirts with
if I can still find it.
Get to that wall.
I mean, you have to, especially if you want to qualify here. We've got, what do we end up running out with? 46
Wow.
total,
Look at that. What a score for Kalkinen as he puts an 83 dead, and 83.5 on the board. Ville Kalkinen, the man that proposed to his girlfriend. I'm not sure if his wife
good?
now, fiance still at this track at Drift Masters. So there we go. We go back on the line. It's going to be Timo Sunwa from Finland, BMW E46 Coupe. M50 turbo underneath the bonnet, 800.
Yeah, I haven't got it yet.
Looking good in practice earlier on. What can he do right now where it counts in qualifying? Will the nerves settle in for this young man?
I got work today, that's the thing.
Nice line so far as he gets into this second outside zone. You can see that touch of the wall just upset the car a little bit on angle, but he stays in it, fires his way through. This is a very nice line, but again, deep into the wall, not what the judges wanted to see. Now this is where it's going to count.
I was just looking at
again, he keeps it on tarmac.
Somebody selling this shit.
Makes it into that final zone across the line. He's been looking good all day.
Yeah, I mean, as he started pointing things towards the grass, I thought he was going to go back to his rally roots and start to off-road this car, but does a really good job, as you said earlier. we want the drivers to have the rear wheels in there, but there's
Damn,
a
I
point
wish I
where
could
you're
have never
so
that
far into the
R9 that
zone and
somebody
you're
was
compressing the
selling
rear end of the car into it
$300
that
without the
it's
stand.
no longer what the judges
Somebody got
are looking
already.
for.
Yeah, I mean, look, and the judges spoke about this quite clearly last night in our driver briefing about, you know, what do they want? As drift fans, me, you, everyone here in attendance in Finland, everyone at home watching online, we want to see the back of the car smooshed into the wall, body panels flying everywhere. We like the X factor, but the judges are saying that's not what we're about. We should be clinical, we should be calculated as drivers. The rear bumper should be just grazing the wall, or, you know, maybe just scuffing the wall. We don't want to see the whole back of the car completely demolished. And you know what, after thinking about it yesterday, we got back to the hotel, I was like, you're right, you know, this is smooshing the car like that isn't the greatest, but the line was good and the judges liked it as he gets an 86 on the bulk there for Timu. Moving back to the line, it's going to be Nico Matala in this crazy Nissan S15 Dodge NASCAR V8, 700 horsepower. You know, I mean, you're not an American.
Oh, yeah.
It's from your...
They're everywhere, but I mean, it's great to see him over here.
There we go as he screams off the line. Airfield hangs out of the bonnet as Nico Matala, back to Drift Masters once again, stands on the throttle, locks up that front brake, trying to push the back end of the S15 into that outside zone. Nice line as he exits now, comes into that inner zone, flicks the car through, and you can see a little deep there on that no-go zone, and that kept him away from the wall as he fires down the hill over that compression, keeps it clean once again.
So which one are you watching?
Are you watching on your little
just
phone
in time
right there?
For the outside
zone, up high, the wall, flexes the tailgate across the line.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like things were going to go sideways off that first zone,
I know.
but was able to clean things
YouTube.
up pretty well. That left foot brake that we'll see in the beginning, that had a lot to do with it, but it also shows you just how quick these cars are, how gripped up everybody's got, because speed's not really a factor at this track, but you still need a fair bit of it to make it through all the zones and really put out, put down the smoke and make sure you can
you
have
talking
a
about
nice
the centerpiece?
run. But a little bit too grippy there through that section and that
the piece
transition.
that they did not send.
Coming to that box, just the timing wasn't quite there. So some of these drivers still working out stuff, but able to get through the run, able to get through all the boxes without any massive mistakes.
Looks cool.
It may not get you into the show at this point, but to get that practice run out of the way, to get that run out of the way, and now focus on, okay, now I need to go for the
How much?
I think it's always about getting that run out of the way, settling the nerves, you know, especially for these wildcard drivers that aren't in the championship round after round, you know, this is all new. You know, they might have drove in the championship previously as a wild card, but every year we come back, they're like, oh, there's new faces, there's new rules, the track is different, they've moved an outer zone, and the judging has changed. And for them to then have to adjust and get used to that again is hard for some of these wild card drivers, as we see Matala's car sitting there in the pre-grid waiting. He's looking over to the big screen. That's what they're doing. These guys are stopping on the pre-grid, checking back at the big screen to see their score drop in, and we're waiting for that judging decision to come in for Nico Matala in this S15. There we go, a 78.5.
You know I don't have Drake,
sure
but I
he'll be
got
happy
the
with that
920.
for his first qualifying
Is it
run.
different? Like, how different is it?
Yeah, I mean, get the score on the board, know where you need to improve, go back, rewatch the run.
Like, how strong is the Drake
so there
drive
we go.
one
So it's
still?
going to be Paulus Perko right now.
Those
Another finished driver.
like realistic?
Car into gear. Another
Charge gear?
M28 turbo, 970 horsepower. Another guy that was flying in practice. What can he do right now? Nice angle. Look at the rate 2 angle he gets there, but he's a little shallow on the outside zone. You can see him working, trying to put the rear wheels in the zone, tyres in the zone and bumper onto the wall as he fires through. He's got a very nice line here, but just keeps it off the wall. Clean driving for this young man as he comes down the hill now, flicks it for the last 2 outside zones, get the transition done just in time, up into the wall and across the line.
Yeah, one of the most stylish runs we've seen so far, with a couple of mistakes in there, but a ton of angle off the hop. And for me, I really like coming out with that much aggression and then kind of dialing the line in a little bit later on. That, to me, gets way more nerves out of the way. You're throwing big style, you're hucking it in there, and they're like, okay, I'll clean things up after, but at least now I know how hard I can throw this car into that run. And you can always go back deeper. You can always, wait a little bit longer, push the car a little bit deeper. But it's very difficult to go back
Where
to
they
and
at?
say, hey, you did good, but drive with more style. Yeah, I'd rather be like, you got the style nailed.
Now drive a little bit deeper.
Exactly. So for me, I mean, 1, great way to kick things off. 2, just,
I'm wondering how to get the cars in the boxes.
You don't want anybody to come back like, you need to drive with more style. It's, just drive with a bit more line. That's a little easier to learn.
Yeah, true. That is right. Yeah, and look, these guys will be back watching the broadcast as soon as they get back to the paddock, talking to their spotters, trying to work out whether they can get some extra points, how they can improve on their score. As we see there, Holier just putting that wheel right to that white line.
You can see the buildup of rubber already, and that's going to develop as we go. But Yeah, great shot. And we're kind of unofficial spotters for them. You kind of give them the pre-notes, right?
I've never thought that before.
Yeah,
We are unofficial spotters. We give them all the information they need. They just have to watch it back. Maybe they watch it back on mute, though.
Yeah, I mean, I understand.
You would.
I understand.
So there we go. Grandstand's filling up already. And today is only our qualifying day. Our warm-up.
What time is it over there for you?
32 top 16, which could get interesting. An 81.5 drops in there for Paulus.
That's where the angle starts to make up for it. But
it's only 2 o'clock in the
style,
afternoon over
angle,
here.
both good scores. A little more online, set.
Well, there we go. We jump along to a man from Ireland. Our first wildcard driver, not from Finland, is David Garvey, making a return to drifting and a return his first wildcard drive at Drift Masters as he's dialed in car 2JZ Nissan PS13. 750 horsepower as Garvey now puts the back end towards the wall. Nice line into the outside zone. A veteran of Irish drifting. Falls out of that zone, works his way around, now picks up that inner zone, fires through, and he's going to have that nice line leading him to the wall, but can he hold on to it? Keeps it away from the wall, plays this one safe as Garvey comes down the hill, gets that white line between the 2 front wheels, dials himself in, looks for that final outside zone, flicks the spoiler towards the cone across the line.
Yeah, not too bad at all. This is, see, and this to me is kind of the opposite of that. Really good line, but now I'd be coming back to the nets, so like, okay, you got it. Now have some fun. Really get in there. Really start to push the pace. So could be a little bit deeper through that first outside zone, but I can't imagine how difficult it is to get your laps in. You know, they've got 2 practice sessions before this. Drivers got a lot of laps in though. Yeah, like they were out there for a good time. So as long as the car is running well, you're getting a lot of seat time. But then just to have to go, okay, point it at the wall several times and then transition at the last moment and put a lot, keep the back end across there. It's, man, just very happy to be up here and not down there.
We're asking a lot.
That man got him a little stand
we're asking for perfection after you've sat and cooled off for a couple hours, right? That's all it is.
I caught most of these drivers.
What is it,
I went
like,
down
just like a little hook?
to film some stuff in the background, and as I was walking around the paddock, most of these drivers were asleep.
Really?
They were sleeping. Yeah.
It's a meditative choice.
Meditative choice. They were just, chilling out. Wanted to just
That's
relax.
the ultimate chill.
Yeah.
You can't get more chill than asleep.
Don't overthink what's been going on in practice. Relax, go back out for qualifying, in that right mindset. As we see Garvey there sitting in that pre-grid. Again, another driver waiting to see his score pop up on that screen. We wait for the judges to put the score in. And there we go, a 77.5 for Garvey. So Garvey gets a 77.5 on the board. First qualifying run out of the way here at Drift Masters comes. And you see his father with him there just saying, it's fine, calm down, we'll go back, we'll talk about it, we'll move on. Now, this man didn't look like he was going to make it back out today. George Christoforou from Cyprus had a big hit with the wheel earlier this morning, ripped the rear wheel off of this BMW 1 Series, but now back out as he flicks that car to angle. Look at the line from Christoforou as he tags him once again. This man, he's not scared of the wall, but he's pushed himself out of that outside zone. Now he's got work to do to get himself back on that perfect qualifying line as Christoforou fires through down the hill. He goes over that bump. Look at the compression as the back end almost digs completely into the tarmac. Christoforou back on throttle, a big clutch kick across the line.
Yeah, very, very aggressive. And I mean, this is kind of, I would say, George's calling card. Just going out there, throwing caution to the wind, just getting after it. And I mean, I can feel the eyebrows pushed together as he's coming through that track, just clenched teeth.
Clenched his teeth.
Gripping the wheel. And yeah, I think if he can clean up a few things, everything else about this run is really good. And it's so neat how you can tell how someone drives.
You ever think you want to go try to do FD in real life?
You can feel it, just even the way they come off the line. When they just have it gripped up, they're banging through the gears, big initiation. And yeah, George just very, very aggressive in this run. And that car is so gripped up. Like it is very, you can even tell with how the suspension's compressing, like how much it's bouncing. He gets on the throttle, it squats and launches. So that is in full kill mode all the way through this run. But look at that, 90 to the wall, right on it. Love to see it.
That was a bit that upset the car though, unfortunately, because he almost put himself into a spin, had to dial on more angle, and then that kind of pulled him away out of that outside zone a little early. So we're getting knocked down points off of that as George Christoforou. Looking good though, aggressive. I like aggressive driving.
Yeah,
I wonder if somebody ever could do like a Hellcat.
I like the aggression, get it out of the way. Yeah. And for someone who did so many repairs to his car earlier, you think there'd be a little more caution.
He'd take it back, like 10%?
Yeah, nope.
No, he added 10%. He's like, I knew where I went wrong. I wasn't going hard enough. There we go, a 77. A lot of 77s coming in so far for these drivers, just not nailing that qualifying line. As we go back to the start line to Teemu Peltola, a man that unfortunately had loads of engine failures at round 1.
It
Dodge.
less horse.
Hey, when you're trying to develop something new,
Yeah.
he gets to be the test dummy.
He certainly is the test.
Sure
Look
that-
at him inside the car. That moustache looking strong this weekend. Oh, and
diesel
again, problems.
Oh,
weird.
no.
And it looked like the car didn't react.
Interesting.
Huh?
Interesting in a bad way.
Look at
obviously.
this, straight onto the radio to the spotter saying, look, there's a big problem with the car. He does get a round of applause. A massive, you know, icon in Finnish drifting is
Yeah.
Timo Peltola. Been around for a long time. He will score a 0, though. We do need to make that official. And Timo Peltola,
Yeah, that was really strange.
All right,
yeah,
so
watch this
I'm
on the
gonna see
initiation
how
because he
much
clutch
goes
kicks
into
it, it understeers straight away, and then the car's just not reacting.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I don't know if maybe something cut out as soon as
Yeah,
he went
yeah.
for it. So there's our e-brake.
All
And
right.
yeah, just nothing. And you can, oh, I wonder if the e-brake is broken. Look
Yeah.
how much he's pumping it.
Yeah, he's lost
And it's
the
not doing
handbrake.
anything.
Lost the handbrake. And
That
that's
is-
the second driver that we've seen so far. And look at the dismay from, I do believe that is the official Finnish drift fans.
Okay.
Have you met those guys yet?
I haven't. I
Oh,
haven't. They
okay.
haven't hunted me down
We
yet.
will organise a meeting for
Yeah.
you to meet those guys.
I'm pretty easy to find too, so
Yeah.
it's not like it's not like it's
like
difficult.
unless you go incognito.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I've even been caught incognito though.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we're at that point.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, here we go. We go back on the line. It's going to be Fionn Roche as we skip Espen Road. Unfortunately, having engine issues and may make out for his second qualifying run, but we're going to keep the show rolling. It's going to be Fionn Roche up next from Mallow in Ireland. This Toyota GT86, a man that had issues with his handbrake earlier on in practice, and unfortunately had a wiring issue for the first practice session and put the car into the wall. They got it repaired, the team back out, and Fionn Roche saying, look, let's go for it in qualifying. There's nothing to lose right now. Oh, and it looks like the car doesn't want to work once again.
So rough. I had a great conversation with him after the last round, and I could feel the frustration with the performance, and you know, this is not going to help with that. And hopefully the rest of this run, I mean, use the rest of the run to figure out what else is going on with the car, because the rest of this isn't too bad. No, it really wasn't that bad, and I'm sure a lot of that's just the frustration, but yeah, it might have been another e-brake situation. It was really strange off the go, or the car just cut out.
Yeah, I don't know if the car cut out.
Yeah.
I think this is the same issue that plagued him in our first practice session earlier this morning. It isn't going to be a 0. We do make it official. You know, he had that issue with the car on initiation was just cutting out. It was just saying, nope, I don't want to do this.
I've seen some really strange things with it. I mean, first of all, check all the grounds. Make sure that everything is grounded.
We might just ship you down there.
Yeah, could.
Just go down there and be like, hey, I'm going to work on some of these cars, try and figure out some of the issues. We're going to go back to the start line to a man in a borrowed car. That's right, Dwayne McKeever suffered engine failure in Spain, in Madrid, couldn't get that car back out. Come back to Ireland, tried to rebuild the engine. The parts for the engine got held up in customs, but he's back out in a borrowed car from his sponsor as Dwayne McKeever now pilots a 2JZ powered S15. And look at this, puts the back bumper to the wall. McKeever down the order because he's yet to score a point, but McKeever wants himself back in the fight as he fires through this, goes a little wide, keeps it on the tarmac though as he transitions, gets that car into that zone, up to the wall he goes and across the line, taking the bumper off on the wall.
One of Dwayne's biggest benefit, I mean, one of the craziest things is that it doesn't matter what you put him in, he can drive it.
Oh, you could put him in a shopping trolley.
Yeah, and he would still probably put down an 80-point qualifying run. It is crazy how comfortable he's able to get in any car that he's driven. I mean, I've had the pleasure of calling runs at events for him where he's been in 5 different cars.
Yeah.
And just the only reason you know it's him is because he's dragging bumper across the entire run.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that must be Dwayne. I don't know what car that is, but I know who's driving it. And you can even see from the driving department, it is barely set up for him. Like he's squished in there a little bit.
He's a little squished in there, but these guys got back to Ireland, managed to pick this car up with just a week to prepare the car. So they retuned the car, added some more power, and then changed the alignment, the setup on the car to suit Dwayne's driving style and how he likes it. Look at that.
Perfect.
Absolutely perfect from Dwayne McKeever. And this is what we unfortunately missed at round 2 in Spain. We didn't get to see Dwayne McKeever in that full tilt, that full moment. As look at this, a 93 on the board for Dwayne McKeever.
Wild.
Comes out the gate swinging. You can see that title sponsor on the door there as Dwayne McKeever borrows the car from them. And incredible what these guys will do to help drivers out.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's really good to see, though, that we've got that kind of support in the sport.
It certainly is.
Yeah, great to see him out.
It certainly is. So there we go. We go back on the line. Yves Meyer up next in this incredible Toyota GR Supra as he flicks it across the circuit. Now looks to set it up nice, and he does for that first outside zone. Yves Meyer been getting better and better in this car year on year, and now he seems to have perfected the style. He's learned to tame the beast as Yves Meyer flicks that car towards the wall, and Yves Meyer now going for a huge run as he fires down the hill over. Look at this, perfect from Yves Meyer in a moment. Gets that car dialed on transition, flicks it up towards the outside zone and across the line.
Oh, so comfortable.
This guy's looking so good in this car this year.
Just confident. I mean, even at that initiation, it was like on beat. You could see that he's got the timing down in this car, and it's so difficult to nail that with all the changing conditions and how this track is laid out. You know, that flow, when you have a flowy track like this, getting the timing down, getting that beat down means everything. And just off the launch, first thing I thought of is he's got this nailed, and it flowed through the rest of the course. Yves Meyer just, man, it was such a great run to see. For somebody who has struggled for a while, it shows. You just put your head down, you don't give up, you put in the time, you put in the paces, and put in the practice, and you get a run like this.
Incredible.
So good. In a stunning car. And you can see the battle damage that's on this car too. He's not babying this suit. He's not babying it at all.
No, he's not babying this Supra. Look, he built this car to do one job, and that was to come here at Drift Masters and put on a show, and that is one hell of a run there from Yves Meyer as he's starting to really now push himself and the boundaries of this car in this competition. Unfortunately, knocked out in top 32 at round 2, but Yves Meyer looking on form this weekend, feels comfortable. He's a guy that looks comfortable on this circuit as well, where in the past, unfortunately, has fallen to the beast that is those walls and taking himself out of competition. But what do the judges think of that as Yves Meyer now sits on the line? 91.5. Are you still? Look at what it means to Yves Meyer as he climbs on the roof.
I bet.
And you know what? It's like he's just won the lottery. That was incredible from Yves Meyer.
Well, that line score really carried things. 57.5 on line alone. So shows you how heavy-weighted that is as we move on to our next driver here in Clint Van Oort.
Yeah, Clint Van Oort putting this car in the wall in practice earlier on. Nearly put the front end in and destroyed the car. Luckily, was able to save it. Clint Van Oort been on a flyer so far this season. What can he do right now as he goes deep into the wall once again? Clint Van Oort, a man known for destroying the back end of this S14, but he needs to tame it back a little bit. 10% off that 150 would be nice right now as Clint Van Oort goes once again nice and close to the wall. The back end of this S14 seeing some battle damage already as it wobbles and wavers as he flicks himself into the outside zone. A little check-up from Van Oort as he stands on the throttle.
Yeah, he made corrections well through this run. I mean, there was definitely a few that came up, but can feel a little bit of frustration there. Clint knows that wasn't what he's capable of. Very aggressive, as you said, Ian. Really gets into the walls, really pushes things, using every implementation throughout the run, between left foot braking, like full throttle. It looks like he's trying to stand up in the car. That's how hard he's pushing on the pedal there. But just a few things he's got to work on through it, but the aggression is there. Once that line is sorted, once he's not dragging the rear end of the car through every single zone, he's such a menace out there. He's a driver that can win from the chase too. He can intimidate drivers as he gets around the run, but even in the chase. So hopefully the scores come in favorable for him and we can see him in the battles, because he's such a weapon when he gets into head-to-head.
He certainly is. Well, you wouldn't have said this car was brand new just a few months ago.
You'd have no idea. No idea.
Well, Clint Van Oort's definitely put it through his paces, that's for sure. And we're going 89.5 on the board from the man from the Netherlands. As we jump ahead, it's going to be Jakub Pszczonski on the line right now in the Toyota GR86. Looking fresh. Once again, the team, he said, went back to Poland, pulled the car apart, made sure it was 110%. They repaired it, repainted it, got it ready, and he said, I'm feeling good here. He likes these tight technical circuits with the walls. He likes to be able to position the car right where it needs to be. And what can Pszczonski do right now as he puts this GR86 right to the edge of the circuit? Look at that, locks the brake up, hangs the spoiler over the wall. As Pszczonski, a man known for that technical style, now gets himself into that zone. He's got the right mindset. Look at that line as he goes right to the edge of the circuit. Pszczonski's on a flyer right now. Down the hill he comes. He shallows up the angle. Goes a little wide, but nevertheless cleans it up. Gets into these last two outside zones on the wall across the line.
Yeah, certain drivers really lend themselves to certain tracks. And Kuba, with his racing pedigree and how precise he came, like that he's been driving for years, really works well at this track. I mean, certain drivers, all about the speed. They love hanging it out there, big, long pulls, but Kuba here wants the technical, wants it to be tight, wants to measure everything in millimeters, and really solid run here. And what I really like to see is that he's not trying to fly through this course. He understands it's qualifying, fill the zones, get the angle, get the style down. I don't need to be as super, super fast, and just very controlled through the whole thing. Can see no hesitation here in any of the lines, any of the transitions. Looks good, and just needs to dial in a few points to aim for that, that perfect 100. And I really think that's all that's left is just those small dials as he gets through the run. Look how deep he was through that. Oh, man.
But it's perfection.
It is,
and that's what we're talking about. Just putting the bumper close enough or dragging just kissing the paint off the wall. That's what the judges were looking for. And I think that's going to be rewarded. And it is rewarded. A 92 dead on the board for Kuba Brzezinski.
Couple of spots left in line, but yeah, really good run.
Yeah, very, very good run. And our lady on the ground is down there with the man that had this car in pieces in Spain, but now might feel like he's in pieces. It's Becky with Kuba Brzezinski.
Absolutely, guys. Kuba, a big change from what happened in Spain. You've just put a 92 on the board, putting you in second position. This must feel a lot more relaxing than the second round.
Yes, this round was, the first round was really heavy for us, but I'm really happy to be here because this track is amazing. The people here are amazing, and we are really happy to race here. And this first round, I'm really happy of it because 92 points, it's secured the place, and now for the second round, it's more relaxed, but it's possible to push more.
Do you prefer a track like this, more tight, technical?
I prefer the more tight tracks, for sure. For sure, you need to have a lot of power for the faster tracks. But this track is really tough inside the car because it's really close to the walls. And for everyone, I think it's no mistakes track.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Kuba. And we'll see you on your second run. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Becky. Well done, Kuba Brzezinski. Yeah, incredible. We were talking about it. We said he liked the tight technical tracks. Becky asked him the question, and he said, yeah, I love the tight technical tracks. Well, a man that we know loves to put this car on the wall. Up next, it is the one and only Benediktas Čurba from Lithuania. Fires in this incredible BMW E92. Look at that, locks the brake up. Čurba does well at these stadium, these tight tracks. Another driver that thrives in these environments. What can he do this weekend? Oh, and the car shuts down. Oh, man.
Yeah, you can see it coming out of that zone. It just.
Did he lose drive line at some point there? You could hear him revving the car then for a second, and I wonder if he lost drive. There will be a zero. We do need to make that. For me, something happened as he came off the wall because he came through that third inner zone, and then he was on the no-go zone, and I thought that's not like Čurba. He was on an absolute flyer. Watch this as he comes through.
Yeah,
I wonder if he lost something on the drive line.
Yeah, that's interesting. I can see if any of the wheels stop moving or you see something really awkward. Even right there, yeah, he was just carrying momentum. Hard to say.
Yeah, difficult to say. We'll try and get word on what's happened with Benediktas Čurba there. Look at that. It's just, nothing.
Yeah, normally if it's an axle, you might see one wheel spinning or something like that. So, I don't know. I'd lean more towards electrical, but that's just me.
Yeah, definitely electrical.
Agree to disagree.
Agree to disagree, yeah. What do we know?
What do we?
We're just
here for a good time.
We're just speculators. That's what we are, professional speculators. We go back on the line. Jakub Kroll from Poland comes off the line. This incredible S14.9. It's not an S15. I got called out for it the other day as he puts it to the wall. The carbon Kevlar this weekend has already been tested by Jakub Kroll, and now back on the car looking to get tested once again as Kroll fires that car through. Nice line, gets that rear bumper nice and close to the walls. Kroll picks up the pace down the hill. Look at this, he's absolutely flying. As Jakub Kroll gets the back end into that zone, stands on the throttle, a big clutch kick to get that car up the hill and across the line.
Yeah, Jakub Kroll, I mean, just getting through, good amount of speed. I mean, we're seeing drivers north of 100 kilometers an hour already. Yeah. This might be a tight track, but they are finding places to pick up speed. A lot of them averaging 67, 68 kilometers an hour coming through this. And Jakub Kroll, as we wait for these to come through, I mean, he's definitely up there with KPH because he's got this thing dialed, and there's still room to go. You can tell even just with the throttle, you can see the brake light flashing there. He's got more pace left in this car.
Oh yeah.
He's holding back a little bit. So I expect if the qualifying score isn't well into the 90s for him, that second run he's gonna open up the full can. Crank the boost, just go at it.
Let it go. Let it rip.
Yeah, it seemed too relaxed for him. in a good way. It was very controlled. Yeah. Line looked good. Everything was solid, but I think leaving a little bit on the table.
Yeah, I think these guys now are starting to realise there's some big scores coming in, and this could be a big scoring you know, top 32 grid. So these guys are probably saying, well, look, let's get a good score on the board. Yeah, there we go. Still a 91, even though we kind of said it's maybe a little bit reserved. I think the line there for me was incredible. And yeah, you can see it was.
Yeah, and I'm looking through some of the stats that we're able to track now. Second best in line so far.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Up next on the line, sitting in the car, looking a little nervous, it is Dave Egan on the line in this incredible carbon Kevlar Toyota Supra. As he slaps the car into gear. There he goes, third gear, big clutch kick from Dave Egan as he fires that car into that first outside zone, picks up the throttle nice and early on the foot brake. Egan puts Kevlar to wall right now as Dave Egan looking very comfortable, comes a little wide, but can he hold on to it? He can. It's a nice line as he flicks that car across the circuit once again, a little wobble, keeps himself clear of that wall as he fires down the hill. Oh, dirt drops, kicks the dust in the face of the photographers as he flicks the car through that second to last outside zone, up into the wall, across the line.
Yeah, a little nervy from Dave. I think you called that earlier on.
Yeah.
I really think Dave's a second qualifying run guy.
Yeah.
He needs to just get through the track, get those nerves gone, and then he unleashes. And it looked good in the beginning. It really did. And then that dirt drop for me, I was like, oh, no. You can kind of feel the nerves as he comes through. A little bit of hesitation, a little bit of worry. But once that's aside, I really think Dave's going to come into his own here. And, I mean, a driver that just doesn't have the same level of experience as anybody else, but still very much deserves to be here. Has put in the time and has the experience in so many different ways in drifting. And now it's just putting in a bit more reps, a bit more time on track to then get to that next level there.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's all about the seat time.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that, you know, Dave hasn't got over most of the grid is that seat time. But still, nevertheless, putting on a show and putting that car where it needs to be. For me, a couple of wobbles, as you say, drop wheels off the edge of the circuit. We'll see how the judges deem that. Remember, the new regulation brought in for Drift Masters for 2025 is that now 3 wheels off the circuit is a 0. 2 wheels will be a heavy points deduction. Obviously, depending where it is.
Right.
If you're 2 wheels off and it's a wall run,
well, I mean,
everyone's in trouble there.
Yeah, that's a different situation.
So there we go, a 78 on the board for Dave Egan on his first qualifying run. I think you're right, Jacob. You can see those nerves in him in the car. And look, there we go. Yeah, look, he just throws the hands. He's happy.
He's happy.
But he's saying, look, that was 20% of what I needed to do.
Yeah.
There's more I need to do out there.
Happy it was only a dirt drop.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Mika Keskikorpi on the line now, the Finnish driver. You can hear the crowds around the grandstands cheering for one of their Finnish drivers as he kicks that car into gear. And Keskikorpi been looking strong so far this season. Look at the way he lets that front wheel rotate and then gets back on the foot brake. Keskikorpi picking up a lot of pace. It's a fast run from the young Finnish driver as he swings it nice and wide out that no-go zone. Deep to the wall goes Keskikorpi as he fires down the hill. He's looking strong in this BMW 2 Series. Flicks it once again, dials on the angle. Can he hold on to it? He certainly can. A little nudge towards the wall and it goes again.
Yeah, buttery smooth all the way through. And the way he transitioned in that second to last outside zone is super cool. Yeah, a bit of like a left foot brake stab to get the car to rotate around. But Mika Keskikorpi, even right off the launch, look at how buttery smooth that transition is. Normally you see the cars kind of bite a little bit as they come back around. Not here. Mika just all the way through it, very confident, very relaxed. Was this one of the drivers that was sleeping? Because I would not be shocked.
No, he was riding around the pits on his scooter, saying hi to everyone. Yeah, he's just enjoying himself.
Yeah, and maybe that's the difference here. Just able to relax. I mean, still have fun, still exciting, but just really fluid.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing he's probably one of the most local drivers. He lives just an hour away from the track.
He might have gone home last night.
So he might have went home.
Yeah.
Slept in his own bed.
Big difference maker right there.
Had a homemade meal.
There it is.
There we go. Wow. Mika Keskikorpi has come out this weekend with a statement. He said, Laurie Heinen, you might have won the finish round last year, but I'm winning it this round. Wow, what a statement from Mika Keskikorpi, and the Finnish fans enjoyed that one, that's for sure. As we go back on the line to another Finnish driver, the man that made his debut here at Drift Masters at this circuit 2 years ago, Jarkko Juhla, ladies and gentlemen, this incredible Toyota Chaser JZX 100 2JZ as he flicks that car across the circuit. Permanent license in Drift Masters for 2025 as he puts back end into the wall and along the wall as Jarkko Juhla now looks down for that inner zone, finds it, flicks the car to angle, keeps it safe, not too close to the wall, doesn't want to destroy the car and give anything for the judges to talk about as he puts that car right on that right line into that second to last outside zone, up on the wall, across the line.
We're just getting better and better with every run. Yeah. I know we're moving down based on performance, but it shows. It really, really shows. The runs are getting more confident. They're getting more aggressive without being kind of jittery or jerky around the track. They're all smooth, but aggression in those transitions.
Do you want to know something?
I do.
You love a number.
I do.
You're a big figures guy. The top 5 qualifiers already are in the 90s, and it's only the first qualifying run.
That's
and
scary.
we are not close by any means to the big hitters in the championship.
Yeah, it's
we are like halfway through the first half of qualifying runs.
Well, you even Kuba's interview where he's like, oh, I'm into the 90s, I'm in the show. I'm not sure about that. I don't know that a 90 at this point is in the show.
Well, there we go. Look at that. An 89 for Jarkko Euler. He's close to a 90. He's up there. He's playing. Look at this. 7th position with an 89. We're going to get some big scores. I'm going to say halfway. I'm going to say 16 drivers in a 90.
I think we're there.
I think tomorrow's lead and chase, top 32, is going to be incredible because everyone seems to have dialed that lead line in. We go back to the line to this man from Japan. It is Naoki Nakamura off the line, 43 years of age, one of the oldest drivers on the grid, but that doesn't scare him because look at the line. Nakamura fires that car in. Oh my God, Nakamura is not messing around. Look at the line, that first outside zone, this GR86 as he flicks it to angle. Will he flirt with this wall? Of course he will. As Nakamura puts the car right where it needs to be. Oh, he jumps it. Nakamura is not messing around. Look at the angle from the Japanese driver. That was insane.
Oh, that was fun. That's just old school, old-fashioned drifting fun. I had a grin the whole time. That was so sick. Nakamura, I mean, you cannot count this guy out, ever. Look at this. Just so solid all the way through. Hands up on the wheel. Very decisive in the e-brake pull. Relax, though. Look at that. You can see him smiling. He knows. He knows behind the wheel that this is just a great run. That transition, that completely sideways hop across the bump. I mean, man, so sick. This is the Nakamura. This is what we saw before.
Yeah.
This is the driver we watched growing up. Like, he's back to his roots again, having fun, enjoying the runs, and just throwing down. Man,
he's found the car that he enjoys driving in Europe, and he's found the championship that he enjoys driving in. And he said, I want to go back to Drift Masters in my GR86 and look at this. Nakamura just put on an absolute clinic at Drift Masters. We are in for one hell of a day tomorrow.
He averaged almost 50 degrees of angle through that run. Crazy. He actually 83 degrees of angle at one point. Almost 90 degrees. That is nuts to be able to do that. Keep the pace. Do it along a concrete wall. Love it.
Oh, wow. Look
Agreed.
at that. 93.75 for Nakamura. Drops him into second position at the moment. And he is, look at that. He's happy. The thumbs are up. He's saying, yep. There's more left out there, though. There's more left out there.
I believe it.
Well, here we go. We go back on the line. The action doesn't stop yet. We're going to have to keep ourselves going because Marko Zakaril from the Czech Republic is off the line right now in this BMW F22 2 Series Volkswagen 2-litre turbo underneath the bonnet as Zakaril fires that car into that first outside zone. Zakaril now makes his way around this long second outside zone, bumper to wall, looking good so far for Zakaril as he fires through the middle part of the circuit, back up onto the wall again as Zakaril flexes the back end of the 2 Series. Down the hill he goes. Look at that control. The car gripped up, almost come to a stop as it landed up onto the bank and goes across the line.
Yeah, fun run. I mean, listen, when you're coming off the back of the Nakamura run, it can be tough, but kept it there. Still fun, and that's what always makes for an entertaining run is when you see the drivers enjoying their time behind the wheel, when they're not stressed, when they're just out there, you know, running the walls, big transitions. And what I really like is there's no hesitation once he's in the wall. There's always that fear. You get into the wall, you lift off, it snaps back around.
The steering.
Yeah. No, just in the wall, holds the steering the whole time, pushes all the way through, and such a unique engine sound too, which is great. Anytime we get a new engine in drifting, always a fan of it. So,
do you think this is going to take off? I've got a feeling it is.
Yeah, as long as it holds.
I've heard whispers in the background of more drivers talking about doing this conversion.
Well, I mean, if they can hold for a season, it's in. Yeah. That's the biggest thing, because anybody can make a ton of horsepower on any engine, but will it last for an entire year?
Reliability.
That's the biggest thing. And he's making good power. I mean, he's well into like 850?
No, like 700 at the moment.
At the moment.
With the potential for more. A 90.5 on the board for Marko Zakaril. Look, here, this is a situation now. 7th position and 90.
Right. This is what I'm saying. And we've still got some of the biggest hitters in the game to come up.
Oh, but the windscreen wipers are on and the rain starts to fall in Finland. This could change the game. Yeah, the umbrellas are coming out. Diogo Correa from Portugal steps to the line. Oh, we can see the game change massively right now as Correa fires in. A man that stood on the third step of the podium 2 years ago. He said to me earlier in the paddock, I want to be back on that podium. I love Finland. I love this circuit. As now Correa, look at this, he's rushing through the track. He wants to get a dry run. As Correa does a sterling job so far as he comes down the hill. Look at this, is clinic once again. These guys have got it dialed. This is almost too easy for these drivers right now. On the wall across the line.
Well, to make it even harder, I do think the rain is going to play a massive role in this. Diogo Correa may have had the last solid dry run that we've seen for the day. And, I mean, it was such a benefit to the drivers that have already gone through for qualifying because they've set the pace, they've set the tone. Diogo, I mean, maybe the last driver to really get in to be able to do this because now anybody else, they're going to have to start changing setup. They're going to have to start rethinking this track. And it is a very different track in the rain.
And well, look, the rain wasn't forecast until tomorrow for top 32. They said that it was going to rain in the morning during practice and then it was going to kind of dry just in time for top 32. So we could end up with a patchy track for top 32. But now the weather has changed again and it looks like we're going to get a shower halfway through our qualifying session.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
He was buried in the wall there.
Well, and this is the difference too, that little bit of extra moisture is all the difference when it comes to these runs because
and it looks like
they're millimeter perfect in the dry.
Oh, they're looking under the car. I wonder if he's had a problem with the engine.
Uh-oh. Well, I mean, he got his rundown.
Well, he did get the rundown. He did cross the line, and he's pulled off to the side. It looks like Correa's going to jump out of the car. There we go. A 93 on the board for Diogo Correa. As we say, a man that was on the podium just 2 years ago puts himself into fourth position so far in qualifying. And yeah, look, the umbrellas are still starting to come out. Jackets are going on, and Correa shakes his head in. No, this can't be. Could Correa have just put in an incredible qualifying run and then the engines failed across the line? We wait to hear more on that story as we go back to the line with Kevin Pascotti, the Hungarian driver. Said he's had some issues with the car today. He's been working on it non-stop. What can he do right now as he fires that car through, flicks it to the edge of the circuit as Pascotti now opens up the throttle, that supercharger winds. It's still full dry at the moment. Look at this from Pascotti, tags the cone on the wall as Pascotti puts in an absolute blinder so far. Pascotti nice and deep into that zone, doesn't get too deep though, doesn't flex the fiberglass on the back of this car as Pascotti flicks the car up, flames are up from the side skirt as Pascotti stands on the throttle across the line.
And it's so roulette right now of how dry the track is going to stay.
Yeah.
And all these drivers know this. So to see Pascotti pushing that hard into the wall, knowing that this track may be very different than the one he was practicing on earlier today, the confidence in that to be able to just huck that car and run the wall like this, knowing that at any moment this track, the sky could open up and it could be a complete game changer when it comes to the amount of traction that they're able to put down. So, wow, the confidence in this, and a very, very quick run there from Pascotti. Max speed of 94 kilometers an hour. So the traction's still there, the grip is still there, and they're taking full advantage of it. Bit of a correction there, I will say, just kind of checking the car up.
The car up a little bit.
There's going to be some hesitation. But Pascotti, great job through that last section. You can see the rubber flying up.
And
that's a proud man right there.
That's a proud man, that is.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Wait for the score to drop in from Kevin Pascotti. And it will be a 90 on the board for Pascotti. And these guys, they've got it worked out.
They do. This is really going to come down to a few key spots to be able to get into the top of qualifying. As we look over at the Norwegian on the Kavia.
Yeah, the Norwegian sledgehammer sits on the line ready to rock and roll. He won't be worried. He won't be scared about a little water on the track right now as Kavia fires that car in. Clutch issues for Kavia earlier on in practice. The team changing the clutch last minute before qualifying. Look at this. Kavia seems to have got the line dialed as well. Just flexing the rear end of this PS13, S13 on the wall as he fires through. Down he comes as Kavia. You can see a little dab of the handbrake, slows the car down, gets the white line exactly where it needs to be. Good transition for Kavia once again as he stands on the throttle across the line. These runs are like mirror image now.
Yeah, it's getting really, really tough. And to me, the difference maker in high qualifying now is going to be the angle and the style. I really think that from at least from here on out, all of these drivers have this line dialed. So it's going to be who can throw more angle, who can do it quicker, who can snap the transitions around. That's going to be the difference. All these drivers are going to be scoring really, really high on line. They know how to do it. And I mean, they really know how to do it. Tor had a lot of questions in that drivers' meeting earlier about how the judges are doing this. And the judges are providing a lot more clarity as to how line is being scored. And these drivers went back, they stayed up late, they took notes, and they figured out, okay, this is the way you need to do it. This is exactly how I need to drive these zones. So to me, the drivers that are able to huck in, throw a ton of angle through the run, they're the ones that are going to be high 90s. They're the ones that are going to get top out qualifying. But yeah, Tornakavia, I mean, another driver just absolutely expert through this line. Very aggressive. He's always been an aggressive driver, sometimes to a detriment, but to here, able to keep things really sorted. And yeah, keeps that car rolling through. They took this car all the way back to Norway in between rounds too. Wild to me. Crazy. Absolutely wild.
Look at this. Look at Kvyat. Absolutely dialed in the zone. Looking for the score, 92.5 for Kvyat. And he says, it's good. Puts his fist up and he says, it's good, but it's not first place.
Yeah.
That's what he was maybe a little disheartened about. And then we go down to the start. You can see inside the car of Peter Vicek right there. He will be up next in this incredible Toyota Supra. E90 Supra sits off the line as Vicek puts that car into gear. Through the gears he comes, big clutch kick, flicks that car across and just kisses the curb as Vicek now puts the back end of this Supra into that zone, onto the wall. Oh, look at that perfection from Vicek as he now fires through the middle of the circuit, dials that car an angle. Was it too much? Does deal with it though as Vicek comes down the hill, over that bounce, over that compression, puts the car back onto angle once again as Vicek stands on the throttle, puts the back end to the wall across the line.
He takes a very different approach to the first outside zone than anybody else we've seen so far. Really gets in deep, pushes the car wide, and drags out. So take a look at this initiation, midline initiation, and then really gets into that first outside zone deep, and then pushes it wide through our large outside zone along the wall. And it sets him up really well. Maybe a little bit shallow to the inside clip, but man, you can really see just how focused he is, how intense Piotr gets throughout these runs. He takes this so seriously. Very, very fun guy outside of the car. Inside the car, though, all business.
It's all business. When the visor goes down, it's business time for Piotr Vicek.
Yeah. Look at this. Unwinds the steering wheel at the end of the run and just focused all the way through. But yeah, I love the way he's able to get the back end of this car, just dials that last zone. Absolutely crushes it. Man, Piotr Vicek, I mean, he's such an incredible driver, and his level of aggression without going overboard cannot be understated enough.
No, it certainly can't be. So
without so yeah, steering wheel at the end of the run and
time for Piotr Vicek.
Yeah, look at this, unwinds the steering wheel at the end of the run and just focused all the way through. But yeah, I love the way he's able to get the back end of this car, just dials that last zone. Absolutely crushes it. Man, Piotr Vicek, I mean, he's such an incredible driver, and his level of aggression without going overboard cannot be understated enough.
No, it certainly can't be. So we wait for the score to drop in for Vicek. And where will it be? Oh, an 88 for Vicek. So judges not liking it as much.
And then second question, just like the track.
Wow, there we go. Becky down there with Peter. Peter didn't have the round one that he was looking for, Becky, and maybe not the score that he was hoping for just then.
Yes, definitely, guys. Obviously, this is the first time we've seen Peter since what happened in Spain. So we're going to ask the question. Peter, how are you? How's the body feeling? Is it good to be back in the car?
Yeah, I feel good. The car feels amazing, honestly. So nothing to complain. I'm just a bit, let's say, not nervous, but feeling too that I need to improve my first run because I'm not the happiest after that. But yeah, overall the car is performing great. Team provide me with a really great car, so now I need to focus on my second run.
How do you like this track? Have you felt that the rain is maybe making a little bit of difference, especially with all those surface changes?
Yeah. Honestly, it felt exactly the same as it was in the practice, so it's okay. I saw a few drops on my windshield before my run, but in the end it was okay. Big thanks to Lucas for spotting and letting me know that the track is 100% like in practice. So now let's fingers crossed for a second run.
Great to see you back out here, Peter, and we'll see you on run 2. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Becky. Yeah, so the rain has stopped apparently from our researchers down on the ground, our weatherman, saying that there's no more rain.
It's a man with a napkin.
It's a man with a napkin. Yeah, he's just holding his hand out the window. Yeah. It's windy and there's no rain. Pontus Hartman on the line from Sweden. comes off the line in this 2JZ powered BMW E46. And Pontus Hartmann almost didn't make it to this event. Luckily enough, a sponsor stepped in and said there is no way you're missing a round of Drift Masters, and managed to get him here this weekend at very last minute. Even had to employ a mechanic from Finland to run the car, but everyone pulled together. This community so strong in Europe, as Pontus Hartmann does an incredible job so far. Puts that car right where it needs to be. A nice line from Hartmann up onto the wall and across the line.
Yeah, a bit safe from Pontus. I mean, going through everything that he's gone through just to get here, I could see it. You don't want to bin the car. You know, you want to get some points on the board, but really where we're at with seeing all the 90s that we've got, you're going to have to push a little bit harder. So I like that he's getting everything down, really feeling things out. We know now that that it looks like the rain has stopped, which is great. You know, just a bit of a false warning for us. But Pontus looked maybe a little bit too hesitant to really get up there and scoring. Might be safe enough to get things through because the line was there.
I was just going to say, I think he went for a more of a technical line drive there, and reserved the style and the flair
for later on.
For later on, yeah.
No, that's fair. I do think he's going to do well online, and we'll see. We'll see how we judge this.
Well,
right?
we're just Drift fans.
I know, that's it.
We're Drift fans, just like you guys here in attendance and you guys watching at home. And there we go, an 82.5. What did it lack on?
Angle
and style. There we go. We were right, Jacob. See, I was always told I didn't know what I was talking about. It turns out
sometimes we do.
Together we know what we're talking
about. It took 2 announcer brains to get 1 judge's brain. That's what had to happen.
There we go. Jason Benet, the man. I'm a big fan of this man right now. Off the line, the Frenchman comes to find this incredible Toyota GT86 2JZ, 900 horsepower. As Jason Benet puts it into the outside zone, very short back end, not a lot to play with as Benet flexes the back end of that GT86. A little wobble, a little waver there as he works his way into that zone, tags the wall a little hard, almost takes the rear bumper completely off the car as Benet now works his way up the hill, flicks it through the zone. You can see the wall paint on the wheel as he crosses the line.
Yeah, carrying a lot of speed through that run, and he was doing this all the way through practice too. Just really on the throttle with it, and the only mistake that we're seeing a couple of drivers making right now is the inside clip. They're just not filling that section correctly. They're doing a really good job through our first and second outside zone, but just a little bit too far in.
Yeah.
You know, judges want to be just a touch back out, but other than that, solid run here. I mean, Jason Benet's got this car hooked up really quick all the way through. Does a good job through the zones, just maybe not, as we talked about before, maybe not getting the angle, maybe not getting the style that we'd want throughout that run to really start to push things up into higher qualifying areas. So, yeah, Jason Benet, one of the top 5 fastest drivers through this run. But when I start to look at the angle data here, not quite there.
Not quite there.
Not quite there.
Not quite there.
That's okay.
More to go. There we go. Score drops in. It will be an 85 for Jason Benet. Yeah, line pretty good, but as you say, Jacob, down. Well, no, the judge is not agreeing. They're quite low.
Okay, they've seen the angle. All right.
So
what do I know?
What do we know? We're just fans. Here we go. David Spossop sits on the line. A rookie last year, now make his way into a full season. Spossop from Poland in this incredible Nissan S15. Took some damage on from Nakamura at round 1 in our battles. Back this weekend, looking stronger than ever as Spossop puts the back end of this S15 right into that zone. Pulls away from the wall a little early there, but now makes his way through a little deep on that inner zone, and that's going to upset his line here, but he just about gets that car in there. And down the hill he comes. It's going to push him wide. You can see that line now start to play not into Spossop's favour as he stands on the foot brake, pushes the back end towards the wall.
Yeah, this is one of those cars where you can really hear him working the throttle. Yeah. There's certain cars that'll broadcast that a lot more than others, and it can be a big benefit. It can also be a bit of a detriment because you can tell when they're hesitating or when they're worried about something or when they're trying to get deeper into the zone. But Spossop, I do really like this run from him, though. I mean, you hear those corrections, but don't let that fool you to how solid of the run it was. As we said before, I think as the track is rubbering in, as there's a bit more grip, that inside clip is coming up a little bit quicker than what they originally thought, based on their timing and all the practice they put down earlier. So to me, that was the only thing on the line that I saw from Spossop that I was like, man, I really wish you would have, nailed that inside clip just a little bit better, because the rest of it was all there.
Yeah, exactly. And you can see, going too deep into those inner zones or too shallow, it's really upsetting the line.
Yeah.
This is such a line-based track if you're off of it just by a couple of feet, it makes a huge difference. And there's not really too many places to recover it from either.
No, there's not. It's just no reprieve.
Oh, there we go. A 79 drops in for David Spossuk, drops him into 19th position. Not a bad score on any day of the week, but when we see so many 90s dropping in earlier on, and we start to move into the heavy hitters in the championship, I worry that what is going to be the cut-off point in top 32. So here we go. Orion Nilsson from Norway sits on the line. This Toyota Sora having a lot of issues in practice. Bent a total on the front, ripped the rear wheel completely off the car in practice as the back end of this Sora flaps around in the wind. It's seen plenty of action from the wall so far as he now dials it back 10%. You can see rear wheel on that white line. As Orion Nilsson now is evading, almost getting too close to the walls, doesn't want to get knocked down on points by the judges as he flicks that car to angle. Oh, puts it into a spin.
That's got to be so frustrating. Oh, as we...
I'm just trying to listen.
Yeah, trying to hear what's going on with the car.
Yeah, I think he's got a brake failure maybe.
Or he's not in the right gear.
No, you can see the display above the steering column says 1, so that should indicate he is in first gear.
Yeah, but just the way he was feathering the clutch, it seemed like it was in 2 or 3.
I wonder, yeah, it looks to me like a brake caliper has seized on.
Oh.
And that's what's put him into a spin.
I got you, that makes
so
sense.
So maybe a front brake caliper has seized on the car, and as he's gone for that transition, the front is automatically braking for him. He's gone on throttle, and the front said, well, we're not going to move because we're braking, and it's just put him into a spin instantly. We'll find out more. We'll try and get some information of what happened there.
That makes sense. Good call on that, yeah. It seemed like he was feathering the throttle like it was in the wrong gear, but I see what you're saying. It's something is dragging, and let's see, maybe grabbed a bit of left foot brake into one of those zones, and then it just caught and went around. I mean, he could be left foot braking through that section if he's really...
He is there, look.
Yeah. And what are you thinking, front left?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Or it could be a gearbox issue. Maybe he came off the clutch. Oh, and he's broken a steering component. I can see on another angle from the judges there. We've got 2 monitors now. Me and Jacob been upgraded for 2025. Jacob.
They've given us all the angles.
Jacob came in, requested a monitor, and the production team were like, of course you can have a monitor, not a problem.
I got 2 stacks of paper, a tablet, and 2 monitors. I am ready to go.
We certainly are. So here we go. We go back on the line to another Finnish driver. It's going to be Juha Poitalakso. I'm going to get crucified for saying the name. That's just how I say it. I'm sorry. Here he goes off the line. Nice line so far as he gets into the outside zone. Rain starts to fall once again. You see it on the lens of the camera into the outside zone as he picks up the throttle. Juha now stands on it a little deep on that inner though. It's going to upset the line. He's working hard to push the back end of that BMW into that outer zone. Fires down the hill. The compression sets him up lovely though on the inside part of that circuit as he puts the foot to floor once again across the line.
Yeah, Juha, I mean, showing the style. I mean, if you want to find a way to define style as the Finnish fans going wild there for Juha Poitalakso. He's got this style nailed down in a few spots in this track, and it's that rate to angle. It's that going from one side of the drift to the other side of the drift with a bunch of speed and being able to catch it. If it makes your hair stand on end, if it makes you want to cheer, if it makes you want to be excited, that is good style. It's so hard to quantify, but the way that he's able to get this car moved around, to me, in a few spots here, really, really good. I wouldn't say that the style ran all the way through the run, but in a few spots, able to really transition that BMW around. So really liked how Juha is able to get this dialed, showing off a bit of that style. Good on the line. Yeah, good angle. So I would say it was a really good run. Is it going to be a great run? Is it going to be a high 90s? I don't know. But everything's got the makings.
It certainly has. It was all there. I think for me it was just maybe a little deeper in some of those zones, especially coming to outside zone 4. I think that's where he lacked a little bit. Yeah, and there we go. And he comes in and he's down on that line score. Look at that angle though. He's almost maximum at 86.5 for Juha as he gets himself a score on the board. He will get himself into the show. Or will he?
I don't know. I really don't know.
The 86.5 at the moment. We need to work out with the car. Here we go. The man that's currently defending a championship. He stood on the top step of the podium here last year. He won his home event. Fires through the gears. Rain falls on the windscreen of Laurie Heinen's S13 as he puts wheels to curb. Oh, and bumper towards. Heinen now starts to feel the effects of the rain here in Finland. Doesn't disturb him though as he now once again looks for that outside zone, fires through as he comes down the hill, the V8 screaming as he jumps the car over that compression, flicks it to angle. Heinen on the throttle nice and early, puts the bumper to the wall across the line.
Wow. That second outside zone, though, was, I mean, I think that was the best we've seen.
I think the initiation caught him out. Watch how greasy and how slippery the initiation is. Look at the amount of water that's fallen. You can see how deep he goes on initiation as he flicks that car through. The car just lets loose and goes right to the edge of the circuit.
Yeah, really pushes out wide, and he's able to stay in it. What a maniac, though. Just into the wall the whole time, uses it to feel around. It's like driving with your eyes closed. You're just feeling your way around the track.
And I don't think that Laurie wanted to be that deep into that outside zone, but he had no option but to be that deep into the zone.
But this is why he's a champion, is that he's dealt something and has no idea until he gets out there going, I have no idea what this track's going to feel like. Still lays down an absolutely solid run. And you listen, you have no idea how much these drivers can feel that rain. James Dean in the meeting the other day said, I can feel the paint you guys put down. That blew my mind, that they're able to tell the difference between putting chalk or paint down.
Well, there we go. Oh, wow. And a 94 on the board for Heinonen puts him into second position at the moment. And Keski Korpi will be the higher qualifier at the moment because he scored that score of 94 first. Becky's down there with the man that stole everyone's heart in Finland last year. Can he do it again, Becky? It's Laurie Heinonen.
Laurie, that was an incredible run out there. We're watching the raindrops start to fall. How much can you feel that? Because you were quite deep into the walls there.
Yeah, it was slippery. Yeah, and just before, like on the burnout box, my car, I think it lost the exhaust or something. So it sounds completely different, so that messed up my mind. But thinking of that condition, I think it was a proper run.
It was a great run, and obviously you had a great time here last year. You were the winner. Are you looking to take the top spot again?
Huh?
Are you looking to take that top spot here again?
Yeah, of course, I can do better without these distractions.
No, we could all hear there was a slight note change of your car there. We were wondering, is he just using less throttle or what's happening?
Yeah, just less throttle and keeping the wheel speed controlled, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, good luck in your second run.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Thanks, Becky. So he lost the exhaust. He couldn't hear what he was doing, and he still put a 94 on the board.
Incredible.
That's a champion.
100%.
That's a championship drive. Well, we go back on the line to a man from Poland, and it's going to be Paweł Korpolinski, a man known for his sim drifting, known for that technical line driving, these sorts of tracks. Again, another driver that comes alive at these circuits. What can he do as he comes through the gears down in this S14A? Look at this from Korpolinski, flexes the bumper on the tyre wall, initiation. Korpolinski deep into the outside zone, but not too deep. Just flexing, tickling the back bumper along the wall as Korpolinski now finds his way around. Look at that foot brake locked as he pushes the back end towards the wall, the track rubbering in, gripping up as he fires down the hill. Korpolinski dealing with everything thrown in his face right now as Korpolinski puts it to the wall and across the line.
Yeah, just so difficult to drive this, and you can tell that there's a couple of spots on this track that are a little bit slicker than others. Korpolinski does a great job of navigating through this. Some spots you can tell the track really wants to bite, wants to dive. Even the way he's transitioning into a couple of these zones is very different than what he was doing in practice, what other drivers are doing. So not that the judges really care that there's any weather. It's no, you got to do the job. This
is snow, and it could be like an ice rink, and they'd be like, deal with it.
Has there been snow at an event?
Not yet.
Okay, we got time, but it could happen.
There's always time.
Yeah, there's always time, but yeah, Korpolinski just expert level, very technical, able to adapt through it, and that's as we get down into these later qualifying drivers, you're going to see more and more of that. These are the best in the world and the best of the best at the event. So it just, it just means that they have to be even more perfect.
Yeah, they certainly do. And yeah, we're getting into the thick end now of the championship and almost done with our first round of qualifying. Look at this as Korpolinski waves and he says, well, just want to see my score. I just want to know what I need to do better for my second qualifying run. What do I need to improve on? And not a lot, that's for sure. A 93.25, and that is how close these guys are now. They're 0.25.
But that's only fourth.
Yeah.
And still some of the biggest drivers to come.
Yeah, and there's a big one on the line right now. Juha Rintanen sits on the line, the traditional twin fist pump to the steering wheel, says to the car, are you ready? Because I'm ready. Through the gears he goes as Rittinen, finished driver, fires it in. Look at that wheel on the curb. It's slick down there, as Heinlein said on that initiation, but he deals with it as Heinlein puts the back bumper of that GR86 up close and personal into the wall as he now fires through. Oh, this is beautiful from Rittinen right now. He hasn't been on form this weekend in practice. He said he wasn't feeling himself once again in his own head, is what he said to me. But Rittinen now looks like he's all over it across the line.
There's got to be something so empowering of driving like this. And I mean, driving in front of all these people like that, that's going to give you another gear. That's going to give you that little bit more confidence. And Juha Rittinen, man, he is so good. He's just so good. The way he's able to catch the car on throttle, throws it into his zone, waits, so patient, back on throttle, drags the bumper all the way through without overcommitting, without disrupting the car. Looks just great. Even the way he makes those corrections, you can barely tell. It's so smooth and it's so minuscule, but man, I really love the way that Juha Rittinen is able to get around this track. The way he drives in general is so much fun to watch because he's aggressive without being disruptive, without doing anything crazy. You can chase it. That's the biggest thing. You can be aggressive and not be chaseable, but Juha the whole time is basically just telling you, like, come on, keep up.
Yeah.
Like, get in here. Let's go.
He's opening the door.
Yeah,
he's opening the door for a perfect chase run, and that's what we're looking for in these qualifying runs. We're looking for that perfect lead, and look at that, a 90 on the board for Juha Rittinen, and we now start to see ourselves creep in past the top 10 of 90-point runs.
But yeah, exactly. A 90 is only yeah, it's wild.
We go back on the line, Conor Falvey from Ireland, one of the youngest drivers on the grid at 17 years of age as he comes off the line, this carbon Kevlar 2JZ S15, a man that has done God knows how many hours on the simulator around this circuit, gets that line dialed into that outside zone nice and early, stays in there as Falvey puts foot to throttle, now works his way through a little deep on that inner zone, goes front wheels over it, but it sets himself up nicely for this outside zone. Down he comes over the hill, deals with the compression. Falvey keeps it on the middle of the circuit, flicks it through the second to last outside zone, flicks into angle once again and across the line.
It's so cool to watch a driver kind of grow up in front of you, and the mistakes that he has made in the past he's not doing anymore. He's not overcommitting to anything. He's not getting himself out of shape or worrying about it midway through the run. And Conor Falvey he drives like he's 10 years older than he actually is. And to see that over the last year really develop, even I went back and rewatched some of the runs from last year and just able to adapt, and just this run now is how he's been driving all year so far, and it's just gotten better every single time. He's so stable. Just minimal, if not any corrections. Yeah. I just love watching it. I love watching his driving. I love watching his style. And I love seeing how quickly he's progressing in this sport.
Yeah, for me, Conor Falvey drives like he's been doing this for 20 years. But he's only been doing this for a handful of years. And for me, I don't know, a lot of the other drivers in the paddock, a lot of the older drivers, they stand and they look and they say, do you know what, to see this young man, the way he is and how he's progressing in the sport reminds them of what they were, and and a lot of them have said it's scary.
Yeah.
Because this guy is only 17 years of age. He's sitting in the top 8 of the championship. There he is with his family and the rest of Team Drift Games as they await the score to drop in for Conor Falvey. What will it be?
There are drivers that have been driving longer than he's been alive.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying. It's dangerous because where is he going to be in years to come? An 86.5, 17th position. He shakes his head. He's not happy with it. Falvey a little disheartened there. And I'm taking a look over to the judges to see, if I can get some info of what it was. And they're just not liking it. They're just saying it's not really what we were looking for. And they shrugged their shoulders at me to say, hey, we've seen some incredible runs. Will we see an incredible run right now? Shanahan leaves the line. Conor Shanahan, Toyota GT86 2JZ. He was a champion. Will he be a champion again? He's got a championship drive in him, that's for sure. As Shanahan puts bumper to wall right now, full throttle for this young man as he fires through the middle of the circuit. Shanahan pushes that car right to the edge of the track. No lifting off the throttle as he comes firing down the hill and deals with that compression. That car gripped up to 100 as Shanahan puts foot to floor, locks up the front wheel across the line.
Yeah, just really pushing the pace around the track here. Just able to get that car gripped up, really throwing it into everyone. Every transition is so snappy. It's so quick. And look at the patience to hold on to the e-brake like that to set it up for that second outside zone. And Conor Shanahan in typical form. Fast, aggressive, committed all the way through this run. And I'm hoping it's going to show. I really do, because taking a look at some of the line throughout this, like, he's really crushing it. It's quick. I mean, 97 kilometers an hour through that run. It's there. It should be a solid qualifying run, although we do see that left foot brake popping in every once in a while from him, showing them that, showing the judges, showing everybody that it may not be the line exactly how he wants it to be, but he is using every tool. Look at that. I don't know if anybody's filled that last zone the way he has. I don't know if anybody's been that deep all the way through.
See, he was in it early, and that's what I liked about that run, because we see a lot of the guys, they kind of get to that last outside zone halfway through the zone and then run the bumper along it. I think for me, Keski Korpi was probably one of the only guys that got there early, run the bumper along the wall into that zone and got across the line exactly how the judges want to see, hence why he was so rewarded for that first place qualifying run. Obviously matched by Laurie Heinlein, but Keski Korpi, because he got it first,
yeah,
he stands top of the castle.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, taking a look at some of the Wally data that we've got now, we've got access to more data than we ever have, which gets me very, very excited. It's showing, line-wise, he's up there with the best of. I would say, based on this, it's the only thing it seemed like he was lacking a little bit was angle. And when I say lacking, I mean by a couple of degrees.
Well, there we go, a 93 on the board for Conor Shanahan. And, I mean, look, he's almost... There was a little bit of style for the judges.
And that's a hard thing for a computer to figure out.
Yeah, it certainly is. It certainly is. Well, here we go. Back on the line we go. James Dean in his brand new Ford Mustang RTR Spec 5 DM.
Right.
Got it right there.
Nailed it.
Here we go, off the line. Nitrous V8 screaming in Finland. We've been waiting to see this one as now Dean puts that car right where it needs to be. Look at that front wheel locked up as that car bounces around the circuit. Super soft suspension set up as Dean positions that car perfectly, puts the back end towards the wall. Dean will want to be part of this 90 party, that's for sure. Look at the pace he's carrying, but he deals with it as he fires that car at a big angle, stands on the throttle, just touches the foot brake, puts the car where it needs to be.
It is so much car for this track.
Yeah.
I cannot understate how massive this Mustang is. They are gigantic. And James makes it and handles it like it's tiny. Makes it go around this course, almost looks weightless throughout the whole thing, just floats around, and he's super aggressive. I mean, multiple-time champion pretty much in anything that he's ever competed in, and you see that level of experience through here. Even through practice earlier on, he was on it right away. It's so easy and difficult to talk about James Dean because I feel like a broken record talking about how great he is. It's when things go wrong that it's surprising when it comes to James Dean. And nothing really went wrong with this run.
No, it certainly didn't, that's for sure. Look at this. I just want to see the last, look at that. Absolute perfection.
You could basically drag a credit card between his bumper and the wall all the way through. That's it.
He's not using my credit card.
No, I mean, he could use mine, but I got to cut it up anyway, so... I mean, judges going back, trying to find fault in this run. We have access to the judges' replays you alluded to earlier on, and they're looking for errors. And
so the new monitor system that me and Jacob now have, we see what the judges are seeing when they look at the replay. So the different angles, the replays, certain points on circuit, we can really now kind of refer to you guys and say this is where they're looking at.
Exactly, which is a massive benefit to us and to everybody at home and everybody at the event. We can try and figure out where's the error. Man,
wow!
Yeah.
A 98.5 for James Dean. He tops qualifying with the perfect line score. Becky's down there with James Dean. It was heartbreak in Spain, but it's absolutely elation right now. Becky, what's he got to say?
Absolutely, Ian. James, not the best time in Spain. There was a few trials and tribulations and moments on track, but to come here with a car that is brand new and put yourself in the top qualifying space, just like Spain actually, but how was that for you?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a weekend of ups and downs in Spain. Obviously, everything was going amazingly until it wasn't, and the unfortunate crash with Peter, really, it was hard for me to come back from that in the same weekend. But this is a brand new weekend, new challenge, new track. I was getting really nervous before that run because windshield was full of drops of water with a few cars to go, but I just had to believe that the track was full dry. It felt like 95% grip of earlier, but very happy with that first run.
We've got to talk about the differences in chassis here because we see GT86s really hanging it out all the way to the wall. How difficult is it when you have so much overhang in a car this big to really make it pinpoint and get yourself the perfect line score?
Yeah, so I'm not in the lead position, it's not so bad, but when you're in the chase position, in this car, for example, chasing a GT86, you have to position yourself really well because it's very easy to be in front of the front wheel, and if you're too far behind the front wheel, you're in the wall with them. So it's a balancing act. You have to approach every car differently, every battle differently, but I'm loving the challenge, and it's amazing to be back here in Finland.
Thank you so much, James. You made it look brilliant. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Becky. Yeah, he did. He made it look effortless. That's what he did.
Yeah, I feel bad for not reacting more viscerally about how perfect that run was.
Shock there. You
I
nearly fell
was.
off the
It's
chair.
just, it's amazing.
Well, hold on.
I'm ready.
Hold on a minute, because this man, well, he learned from James Dean, and he won't want James Dean to beat him. He'll want to beat James Dean. It's Jack Shanahan, ladies and gentlemen, off the line. This incredible Toyota GT86 2JZ screams, and look at this from Shanahan. It's almost a rinse and repeat of Dean's run right now as he fires through. Shanahan evades that wall, keeps the bumper clear of that wall as he fires down the hill, grips that car at maximum as he fires through, gets it right where it needs to be as Shanahan puts it to the wall and across the line.
Just controlled chaos through the whole thing. And Jack Shanahan, when he's driving, you're ready for him to crash at any moment because that's what it looks like the whole time. He'll dive in at the wall. He's full throttle. Look at the angle going into that. He's wrestling that car the whole way through, but makes it look smooth and effortless. It is crazy how Jack Shanahan drives. Nobody else could get behind the wheel of the way he sets up a car and drive as well as he does. It couldn't happen because it's on maximum all the time. When we talk about drivers like, oh, they're dialing it back a little bit, they're going to add 10%. That doesn't exist for Jack Shanahan. It doesn't. It's just, no, it's full time, all the boost, all the traction, all the everything throughout the entire run. As soon as he goes out.
The way it flexed the back bumper on that final outside zone, for me, there was only one point that I could criticise Jack on, and that was the no-go zone.
Yeah.
Drops a wheel on the no-go zone, which judges said, like, hey, look, you know, you can maybe just touch the edge of it, but for outside zone 4, he was a little shy on it. Would have liked to have seen him a little deeper, like James was, just that extra few inches deeper into that zone. But the rest of that run for me, from Jack Shanahan, was incredible, and it's still going to be a good run, and he'll never be happy. Even if it's a 99-point run, he still won't be happy with himself. And there we go. It's going to be a 94. He says, well, there you go, that'll do. But he'll come out swinging for his second qualifying run.
Even Becky's laughing at it. I mean,
she's like, well, yeah.
94, okay.
Right, here we go. We get into the podium finishes at round 2 in Spain. He finished third step on the podium. Kevin Passer, he said to me this weekend, back on the podium. I'm not messing around. I'm here for business. The Estonian driver comes off the line. BMW 2 Series, flicks that car across on the handbrake, sets himself up lovely, gets into this outside zone. What can Kevin Passer do? We know he comes alive in the battle, but can he come alive in qualifying? Nice line so far from Kevin Passer. He wobbles a little bit there, pushes the car right to the edge of the circuit, smashes the back end off as Passer now starts to rein himself back in once again. Back on that qualifying line, he goes up into the wall, across the line.
Wow. Showing why he deserved that podium. Really, really pushing the pace all the way through this. Very aggressive. Getting into the wall, sets the car up all the way through. Just a solid run. Other than that one wobble, as Ian alluded to. Just a little bit in that transition. There's a bit of a bump, there's a little bit of a hop, and you know, you set your car up a little bit softer to get the speed out of it, and that means it can get a little hairy as it does there coming into the wall. Whenever you transition, that hop, it can be real spooky, but does a really good job of keeping everything sorted, everything clean. I mean, even with that wall hit, it wasn't like it disrupted the car. It was just on the edge where it tore the bumper off, but not so hard that it shook everything around. Look at that. Goodbye to that body kit.
Oh my God, you just realized my mic
Even the
was
headlight
off
can't
this whole
hang.
time.
No.
Headlight's like we're going too
Damn
fast
it.
here. We need to slow
It is
down.
what it is.
You know,
It's fine.
20 mile an hour, just take some speed out of it, Kevin, as our safety marshals get out on circuit, remove those shredded body panels and put them safely to the side, ready to be refitted later on this afternoon for the second qualifying runs. Kevin Passer leans out the window with his team and looks across at that big screen, waiting for that score to drop in, hoping it was enough to get himself up into that top 10. I said it earlier, I think we're going to end up with 16 drivers on a 90, and we've already reached that, and now Passer's score drops in. A 92 on the ball puts him in 12th position at the moment. This is going to be one of the biggest scoring rounds of Drift Masters I think I've seen in a long time.
And well-deserved, too.
Yes.
They're nailing this line.
Yeah, they certainly are. And we go back on the line to Ite Sedat, second spot on the podium last time in Spain. What can he do this weekend? That car taking some damage though this weekend. He's had a few bumps and scrapes with a few other drivers and the walls. That car not looking as fresh as it did, but look at the rate to angle, flicks that car on big angle as Ite now hammers the throttle through the floor, opens up all the power from that 2JZ, screams through the circuit. This young man won't be too worried about scratching what is now not a brand new car. Incredible as he gets that car landing perfectly on the circuit, on the throttle once again into that final zone and across the line.
Ite Sedat just so snappy in these transitions, and it's so easy to over-rotate the car when you do that. When you look at, like, even on the initiation, gets that back end out, but in between each zone, anytime that car has to transition, it does it as fast as he possibly can. And it looks so effortless. Look at this. Grabs it, oversteers it into the car, or into the zone to really make sure, and that is such a tough thing to do, to be able to catch it and then know that you still need to add more angle. But yeah, it's just so quick through these transitions. When we get into battles, he is going to be a menace to chase. It's going to be so difficult for drivers to be able to match that in the chase. Totally chaseable run. It's a great way to get through it, but you're going to have to commit as quick as he does, and that is not an easy thing to do. As this second place driver from our previous round wanting to put it as high as he can in qualifying to give himself the best chance to maintain that podium streak here in Finland.
Yeah, certainly so, and you can see how that car held together with hopes and dreams and plenty of blue duct tape.
Sometimes that's what you got to do.
That's sometimes what you got to do.
Sometimes what you got to do.
Well, there we go. He stares out the window of the car and waits for the score to drop in. These guys now playing the game. That's what they're doing, playing the game. Score drops in, a 94 for Ite Sedat. And so far, so good for the guys that finished on the podium. They're in to the show. One more driver left to go. Can he make it in to top 32 as he gets a nod across? Some issues with the car early on in practice. It looks like the team have got it dialed as Oliver Randalou from Estonia sits on that line, ready to rock and roll, slams the car into gear. Focuses Randalou, a target on his back now as he is the championship leader. Fires through, big handbrake drag, sets the car up. Nice on throttle now, stabs that foot brake, locks that front wheel up, but on and off, making sure he's not putting too much of that back bumper into the wall. It's a beautiful line from Oliver Randalou at the moment. This is incredible for the young Estonian, following on that form from his win in Spain as he looks for these two lost outside zones. Randalou will check up there as he gets back. I don't know about that angle.
The amount of pressure that goes onto a driver when they come off a win, it does one of two things: either makes them or breaks them. Oliver Randalou, it's making it. He's showing why he deserved to win that event. Really, really pushing this car around. It's so easy just to back off me like, oh, and let the pressure get to your head. Everyone, you know, you've got all the interviews, you've got everybody watching back home. But I mean, Oliver Randalou does a really, really good job through this run. There's a couple of spots where, yeah, I'd like him to, you know, maybe be a bit more aggressive or maybe not use as much left foot brake. But man, able to swing the car through all the zones, very precise throughout it. And I'm really impressed with Oliver Randalou through this whole thing. I can't imagine the amount of pressure he's got coming off that win. No, not easy. Not easy at all.
And you know, and Laurie Heinlein, you know, he spoke about it quite a lot last year. There we go, a score drops in, a 92 for Oliver Randalou, good enough for 12th place at the moment. Heinlein spoke about it last year. He said that at no point did I really want to lead the championship. He said it was easier to fight from the back. You don't want to be the guy with the target on your back.
Yeah, it's like almost like Valentino Rossi in Moto. It just the way he drove. You'd always stay in second, just so that way he could intimidate them and pass at the last moment.
Exactly that. Well, Randalou is leading the championship. He has got that target on his back. He's got himself a good score. He is in the top 32 at the moment. Becky, how's he feeling after that first run?
Well, Oliver, that was a fantastic run that you just put on the board there. We're just waiting for your score to drop in. How was that for you?
Yeah, it's really tough here. You can't make any kind of mistake. And going as a last one, I see those high scores. The pressure is on. But 92, it's really good, and we can really push on the second one.
How do you manage that stress when you have it on your back like that? How do you just look down and go, you know what, this is what I'm going to do right now?
I do stress a lot on the starting line, but once the light goes green, I'm totally in my own zone.
Is this a track that you enjoy, or do you prefer a more fast-flowing track, say like Spain?
I can't say I enjoy it too much because there is so much risk on this track, but I do like it. It's really rewarding when you get like high points like that.
Well, Did you make any changes to your car from Spain to here? I think you made a joke earlier. Actually, not too much. Just?
Yeah, just oil change.
Just an oil change. Well, there you go, guys. Back to you. Well done, Oliver.
Thanks, Becky. Just an oil change is all it needed.
I get it. I wouldn't touch anything.
No. Don't touch a thing.
Yeah,
Don't
wrap
change
it plastic
anything.
wrap,
Yeah.
and don't touch anything.
You like the plastic wrap?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like that.
I like that's how they ship cars around. It's smart. I like it. It's smart.
It's very smart.
Yeah.
And there we go. Let's take a look at how qualifying stacking up at the moment. Let's see who's in, who's out. James Dean obviously rounding out qualifying first place of 98.5. I think we're going to see that beaten. I think we're going to see a bigger score than
Really?
that. Yeah.
Wow.
Connor Shanahan at the moment sitting in 8th position with a 93 on the board. Nakamura in there. Jack Shanahan, the higher qualifier than his brother. That will be a talking point down there in the Shanahan camp. Yves Meyer, for me, a standout driver, one of the only first drivers to get a big score. Kavir in the show with a 92.5. Correa, well, he might not make his second qualifying run. We are hearing whispers in the background there is an engine failure. Can he get it fixed for tomorrow? Then we start getting down to the thick end of the championship. Clint Van Oort in the show with an 89.5. Connor Falvey an 86.5. We see how dejected he was with that score. We move it down and look at that on the drop zone. Dave Egan, a 78.5 at the moment is the cut-off. Jason Bonet in there. Ville Kalkinen in there. Polius Perko in there with an 81.5. Spossop. A lot of the wild cards getting themselves into that mix, but they're going to have to improve as things go on, because these scores are going to start getting hot and heavy when these guys now start figuring it out. There we go. We've got a lot of guys sitting on a 0, and you can see guys that are out. Garvey, George Christoforou, Oran Nilsson, Fionn Rose, Cherba, Peltola, some big names that we're used to seeing in the show out of the show at the moment, and I expect, as I say, them scores to start ramping up.
Yeah, I would not feel comfortable in this qualifying, other than maybe James Dean. He's the only driver I think I would feel comfortable throughout this whole thing as we take a look at Oran Nilsson.
Yeah, so Oran Nilsson down there. We was watching another monitor at one part there where we was waiting for a judge's decision to come in, and it did look like the driver's side, which is the right-hand side of the car to anyone else, it looked like he had a problem with the steering. So they had an issue earlier on with a bent steering arm on that car. I wonder if the new steering arm they fitted had failed.
Okay.
Or they have yet a different issue. And you can see down there, Kavir in the paddock, having a look around the car, trying to work out what it was. You can see Kavir with a brake disc there, trying to move the brake disc.
It's moving around quite a lot. I wonder if it's...
there you go.
Did it?
So I wonder
if it jammed up or something.
It's jammed up from what we can see. It looks like maybe the hub has failed on the car. Yeah, so it looks like the hub has failed, which would, if the brake disc got locked up, it would lock the wheel on. And here we go. We can see what happened. You can see, look at the angle of that wheel. And it's so uncharacteristic of him to spin at that point. It looked like he was in total control.
Yeah, the upside with it, especially the setup with his car, is it should just be an unbolt and bolt back up to get that hub all fixed up, which is great. I mean, there's been so much development in the way that we drift now and all the parts that go along with it that it makes it much easier to make a repair like that. So, a couple years ago, that could have been weekend over.
Yes.
Now we've come so far in the sport where, cool, maybe 10, 15 minutes, we can get that swapped out.
Exactly, not a big job for the team to do. As you can see, our track team down there just repainting those outside zones so that our drivers know exactly where they need to be, and more importantly, our judges know exactly where our drivers need to be. So, Oran Nilsson down there fixing his car. Becky's with Connor Shanahan. Becky, how's he feeling?
Yes, absolutely. I just managed to grab Connor as he's just come back to the paddock area. Connor, 93. You look pretty cool, calm, collected about it, but I know you probably want more, right?
Yeah, a little bit of night. It was a big run in the tank and throwing it away on the first corner. I was just a little bit nervous, to be honest. As I pulled to the starting line, there were still some raindrops, and as I initiated up the straight, or went through the gearbox up the straight, I felt like I didn't have the same traction what I had in practice. So tried to kind of slow it down a little bit, but had to use a little bit too much handbrake and left foot to extend it out of zone 1. But practice is probably the best practice session I've had in the last 2 years in this car. It's been really good. So I hope big things coming tomorrow, but I hope a big qualifying run next is on the cars too.
Well, the car is looking like it's running really nice and smooth. You had a few issues back in Spain. Is everything all kind of sorted now, or are you still chasing anything?
Yeah, Spain was a pretty good event for us. We had a small issue, which was not a major thing. Got it fixed. The team have been doing a great job, working alongside great partners. So it's really good to have a car underneath me what I can push and make sure that I'm going in the right direction, I guess. We had a bad year with this car last year, but I feel like I'm back home right now. The enjoyment is back in the car. The laps are good, and some big chase runs in the bag, I think, for tomorrow. Really pushing in practice today. But, right now we just got to figure out how to try score 99, and that's the plan.
let's talk about this track. I mean, you've really got to explain to people at home. There's 5 different surface changes. It seems like such a small amount of rain, but tell us how much that can make a change to your plan of how you wanted to do your run.
Yeah, this track takes a lot of work, like a lot of concentration, because I feel like on a track like this, the biggest difference is that we're splitting hairs. It's not like a track like where you have big commitment, a real fast track. So I feel like, you're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We already see how high the scores are, so it kind of, everybody can do the same thing. I think this track comes down to how you do it. Can you do it better than the person what he's doing? And, we've seen James put a great run together. It was very in control. I think he's just joining the dots, and I think that's what top qualifying right now was a really, really great run with good composure, and I feel like that's the goal here, is just to try be better at somebody at connecting the dots, basically.
Very well said. Well, you're a man with a plan, Connor. I wish you good luck for your second run.
Thank you,
guys, back to you.
Thank you, Becky. Yeah, and Connor just nailed it. Everyone can drive the track, it's just how you drive it. Can you drive it better than the next guy? Well, here we go, back on the line, ready for the second qualifying runs to kick off here in Finland at round 3, and it will be Emi Kamula in this BMW E87. Scored a 0 on his first qualifying run, needs to score better than a 78.5 at the moment to get himself in the show. Nice initiation, gets on throttle, tags the wall again.
No.
Same issue once again. Did it bend anything this time? No, stays in it, doesn't let the upset get to him too much, and maybe it does look like there is some damage there on the back of that car as he fires through, puts the car right where it needs to be. No, looks like that wheel is straight as he flicks it up the hill now, looking for that final outside zone.
Oh!
And the car gripped up and just spat him at the wall.
That is brutal. We're seeing sparks flying from underneath the car. There's a fair bit of damage done to that front left.
That car looks like a rally wheel too.
It makes you wonder what else was going on before that, even with the initiation and into the wall at the beginning. To me, it seems like something else is going on with this car. Like there's just a setup or mechanical thing that's not quite right that's causing him to kind of get into the zones like this. But I mean, it happens. It's tough. It's so a lot of these drivers make this look so easy.
They certainly do. Look, we've got to remember that there's more rubber laid down now than there were in practice or his first qualifying run. Plus, we've had a little bit of rain drop down on the circuit in between. So, is it still a little bit greasy?
And then boom.
It could be. I think for me, yes, that would have caused his issue in that first long outside zone. But this bit, watch this, the car just grips up massively. He tries to clutch kick it. And when he clutch kicks it, it's already trying to push him towards the wall. Look, he's moved that block, those blocks, 1.2 tons a block.
I believe it.
They're going to have to.
Someone asked me if I would put one on my toe for a bet. I was like, no.
I mean, if you don't want to tow anymore.
Exactly. Well, I wonder how much it would hurt. You drop a cup on your foot. You're like, ow.
Yeah, I think at that point you don't
That's
feel
a rally
anything,
shit right there. Honestly, his car looks like a rally car. And he's hitting
so tough. Look at this, though. I mean, right on the edge of the track. It just shows that even when you have situations like that these drivers are still incredible, can still do some amazing things.
Yeah, certainly so. Yeah, and look, I mean, he dealt with it as good as he can, but unfortunately, the way that car gripped up, he slams the door closed and completely dejected. His, his wild card, his first appearance at Drift Masters, not the way he would have wanted it to go down. And I mean, look, you could see the way the car gripped up. It just fired him towards the wall. He wasn't in control of it. He had to try and back out of it, but there was no way that he was going to get away from it.
And it's a big difference, too, with this series versus some of the other series when you're coming up, is that you may not be used to how much rubber goes down. As you start to climb the ranks of drifting and you go through the different series, more and more tire gets worn off, more of it gets baked into the track. And once you get up into the highest levels, you may just not be used to the way that the track reacts.
No, exactly. And look,
they just gotta hit it
coming
back.
through your national series, you might be a champion in your own series, but then you step up to this platform where every driver is a champion.
Yeah.
Talking of former champions, Becky's with Oren Nielsen. What's going on down in the paddock, Becky?
It's very busy down here. Oren, you're sitting at the place where no one wants to be. All the pressure's now on run 2. Come on. What's going on?
I have to make it exciting, right?
Yes, you do. I love that for you.
Yeah, I mean, we had some issues in the practice earlier today where I overused some tires, went into the wall after practice, and we didn't have time to check the alignment in the rear, and it was actually positive toe out in the left rear. So I was, as I was chasing Peter in the practice, I was feeling that the car was just shooting into the wall. So I tried to spin the car to not hit it, and then I hit the front into the wall. and I had to change the front hub, and probably the new one was damaged from before. We don't know. And the team is now preparing a new one. We should be good for the second run. I just have to forget about it and put on a good show for the next run.
I mean, we've seen you take some crazy runs on our Drift Masters tracks over the years. I'm just hoping that this is going to get all together for you, because it's looking good right now.
Thank you. I will try my best.
Is there anything that you want to say about it? We know that when we had a chat in Spain, you were saying that, you know, the car made a few changes, but nothing too major. In her, I trust. Are you still there?
Yeah, I am. And in my team, I trust. So I'm really grateful for the effort they put in. And they've been on it all day. And to my sponsors also, thank you so much. And I'm going to do my best, for sure.
That's all you can do, Oren. Good luck for your second run. Guys?
Thank you, Becky. Yeah, he likes to keep it exciting. Becky was in there. She was like, so tell us.
Yeah.
Are you just playing a game?
Yeah, just you know.
I think he just likes to keep us on our toes.
just playing
Everyone.
the
He's
game.
like, everyone's like, he might not qualify. And then Orion Nilsson comes out and probably puts a 99 on the board. And everyone's like, where did that come from? He was like, it helps when you've got 4 wheels attached to the car properly.
Yeah, it's like training with a weight vest, but it's like training with one of these blocks on.
Yeah.
And then you take that off. You're like, oh yeah.
He just did a marathon with one of these blocks on his back, and then he took it off and he's like, I can run round here in seconds now.
Yeah.
So there we go. We've got our heavy machinery out on track, moving the wall, and apart from a drift car, the only thing that's qualified to move the block. As we take a look back at the replay, yeah, you can see here where it all went wrong. Gripped up, big clutch kick, and already the wheels are pointing in the wrong direction, and
nothing you can do.
Nothing he could do at that point, that's for sure. And I wonder if there was an oil cooler there, maybe in that front wing. We see a clean-up down there on the circuit after the finish line. And yeah, you can see there's some oil down, so maybe an oil cooler split. We're going to go back to the man that is on the drop zone, and he's with Becky Evans. Becky, he's sitting right on the cusp of not being in the show. You're with Dave Egan.
You know what? Any man that can handle the pressure like this of sitting in 32nd place, I would hand it to you, Dave. You do a very good job of it. But tell me what's going through your mind right now.
Better than last place, first round in Spain. So again, I did the worst run of the weekend in my qualifying run. Practice was perfect. We were really comfortable. And then it's just different. When all the fans are watching, you see it all on the screen, everybody's zoned in on you, the pressure just starts to build and you start overthinking and overdriving. I made every error I didn't make in practice, and my spotter was like, what was that? And I was like, I don't know. But we got a lap in, we got a score in, we're still kind of in the mix. But I think today, with the level of driving here, I have the least, or one of the least experience on the track, and you can see that the guys that know this track are just on it. So I've got to get a high 80s, which basically means that I'm taking my score now as a 0. And I've got to push 25% harder than I've done in practice. And I don't know what's going to happen. So it's taillights or bust in the second run. We're just going to send it in. I'm going to put it on the lock stops. If it works, it works. It doesn't, I don't qualify. But I want to go home swinging rather than just being knocked out by 2 or 3 points. So it's going to be a crash or a good score. I can guarantee either. The boys don't want to hear that, but that's what we're doing.
I love that. I love the energy. Like, it's going to be a crash, or, it's going to be a good score. Can you tell us, for the people sat watching this at home, this track is super technical. There's surface changes, there's compression points, there's elevation changes. From when you were watching it as a commentator, how do you feel about it now you're driving it?
Oh, it's totally different. First of all, that first wall to you guys seems like a perfect arc. It's like a straight wall in front of you at the end of the straight that you've got to somehow do the arc yourself to get to. The bump is insane. It's like driving through a puddle at 70 miles an hour. You just have to hold the steering wheel and hope that it doesn't unsettle the car. And then the bank at the end, the car feels like it's got 200 horsepower because you're just going up a hill. So all of a sudden you got a clutch kick and do it. So these guys make it look so easy. I can tell you from first-hand experience, it is not.
Looking at your car as well, you had obviously the timing issue where you had to replace the head. How's she running now?
100%. So I have 0 excuses for my first run. Car is amazing. DBM Engineering did an amazing job. We rebuilt the engine. It's running 950 horsepower. And the only thing that's letting us down on the mechanical build is the squishy bit driving it.
Right. Well, there you have it, guys and girls. There is no excuses. Dave's going to have to put it on the box. Good luck. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Becky. Well, it's either going to be a 100-point run or a crash.
Yeah.
The team didn't want to hear that. I could see a few of the mechanics turn around and look at him like, we're not crashing the car now, Dave.
Yeah, listen here, squishy bit.
Listen.
We do not want to repair this.
The squishy bit between the steering wheel and the pedals. But look, we talked about how it goes wrong. We've seen how it goes wrong. Let's talk about how to get it perfectly right, or almost perfectly right. It is, of course, James Dean's first place qualifying run at the moment. And you can see, and you're just looking back at the data. You were saying to me, It's perfect. Online, every zone was exactly where the judges wanted to see it.
Yeah, it's actually incredible how good this run is. There's pretty much no spot where he didn't touch the tire where it needed to be, and that's kind of the easiest way to simplify it. Is the judges were very specific, not just filling the zones, but where in the zone they want you to fill it. And they laid it all out for the drivers, and we've gone through this replay.
Yeah, we're actually really lucky. We've got the Wally system. So we talk about this Wally system. You see it on top of the roof of the car. It's like a black box with a little aerial on it. And that is a new system that's been implemented from Race Data Labs. We call it Wally on all the cars, and that feeds back information to not only Jacob, because I am not qualified to look at numbers, but it also feeds back information to our judges, who they don't use it to determine a score, but they just use it to determine different things of how good was it. Is that where the drivers need to be? And you said to me, if you watch the run back, as we did earlier on a few moments ago while Becky was doing that interview, the front wheel and the rear wheels were exactly where they had to be on track. And for me, that is just mind-blowing. That the judges scored it as a 60 online.
Wait, did
and
he
Wally
change
backed that up.
helmets?
Yeah, it's not just inch perfect,
Man,
it is
you
literally
on the white
millimeter
helmet?
perfect.
Well, here we go. We're back on the line, ready for our next qualifying run. It will be Matthias Lindo in this BMW E46. Took it to the face earlier on, a crash with Timo Peltola. Got himself with a 77.5, but not enough at the moment. He's out of top 32. The man that helped build the circuit with a forklift just a few days ago. He needs to do better than that, though. Evades the outside zone. Flying down the hill he comes, on the throttle once again. Flicks that car to angle. The sun now peeks round those clouds that we see hang over the circuit a few moments ago. And I don't know, Jacob, if that is going to be enough for the show.
Yeah, I do think it's better than his previous run, but got a little bit shallow in a few spots, and that might be the difference here. As we've talked about, and we'll continue to talk about, everybody's got line dialed in. So if your line is not almost perfect or completely perfect, it's going to be a struggle. You better find a lot of style or a lot of angle to make up for it. But with 60 points on the board just for line, it's massive. So I do think he's going to better the 77.5 that he had previous. Is it going to be enough to get into the show, though? That is going to be really tough. We've seen this replay angle so much. Almost everyone's dragging bumper.
Yeah.
If you're not, that's going to be tough.
I think now, looking at the judges' scores as they come in, we'll see it now reflected in this score. If you're not around a 55, I'd say, that line score of a 55 or more will not be enough. And there we go. Look, a 48 on the line is only enough for a 77.5. It is an improvement, but not enough for the show. And that is the end of the weekend for Matthias as he moves it off the track. And we go back to the start line to Tony. BMW E92 scored a 0 on his first qualifying run. And looked like he almost had a false start there. Our start line Marshall Martin. Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure what's going on there.
What happened?
That is interesting.
So I am not sure what's going on there or how the judges are going to deem that.
I don't know if it was a false start or he just said, hey, I'm having issues, I'm going to do a parade lap.
Yeah, so we're going to try and get some info of what is going on from our guys on the ground. As our start line Marshall Martin, the man of the moment. I can't wait to be at Riga where he puts a shirt on and his little dicky bow tie. I love that.
Yeah, the outfits.
The outfits. And this guy, like all of our track marshals throughout the year. So here we go. Light goes. So it's a false start.
Oh, okay.
So Martin tells him, waves him through, but it's a full start. So I'm not sure what's going to go on there. We're going to find out more about that. We're going to move it along to Juna Warnanen, this Mercedes-Benz 198 diesel. Yeah, this is you're all about this.
And the fastest car on track so far today.
Fastest car on track.
104 kilometers an hour.
I said in practice that James Dean was the fastest guy.
Everybody
not in
on
qualifying.
I was wrong.
No, so far.
It's the first mistake I've made.
Mark this day down.
In history.
We'll celebrate it next year.
Yeah.
The day Ewan was wrong.
Oh, so here we go. So he stopped on circuit, I believe, trying to find out where that is, if it's on circuit or is it right down by the start line. It looks like it's down by the start line. We're going to try and find out what's going on there with Tony as we're waiting to start Juna Warnanen.
There's one thing a diesel likes to do, it's idle, so he'll be okay.
He'll be fine, and he'll use no fuel.
No,
not an ounce. It'll be a thimble full.
You know what a thimble is?
I do.
Car or not? Because sometimes they drift in the night.
Okay, so it looks like our marshals down there, you can see, talking to him.
Black tinted, like
and maybe just relaying some. Right, so it looks like we're going to get Junior Warren off the line. He's going to do his qualifying run. Then we're going to go back to Tony. He's going to be allowed a second qualifying run. I think he got a little bit heated in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, out of the show, still on a 0, wanted to get the run underway, jumped the start. It was a full start. Here we go. Diesel Smoke off the line. Black Smoke Racing team member will be a Junior Warren and fires that car in.
Oh, yeah.
Another diesel issue.
Yeah, diesel.
And another diesel issue after initiation. You can see him give it a clutch kick there. Just to puff a black smoke out of the tailpipe and doesn't want to initiate. Off the line. Black Smoke Racing team member will be a Junior Warren and fires that car in. Little dab of the handbrake.
It's not flowing right. It's not like...
Another diesel issue.
And another diesel issue after initiation. You can see him give it a clutch kick there, just to puff a black smoke out of the tailpipe, but doesn't want to know. So,
oh my God, the black
0 for Junior Warren. He scored a 67 on his first qualifying run.
So that might be it.
So it was a clean start.
Yeah, we got the green light. And then at initiation, looks like he had to reinitiate. So something going on with that car.
Yeah, went on throttle, car didn't react. We were back on the line with Tony.
The weight distribution wasn't good on that car either.
That's a real tongue twister.
Oyatalo?
Oyatalo.
I was letting you go first. I always let you go first with the names. And
yeah, you let me go first. You throw me into the lines then?
That's fine. Hey, you're lead commentator now, big boy.
I get thrown into the lines then. But here we go. It was a false start. Apparently got a little bit excited on the line, lifted his foot off the clutch. It broke the beam and was triggered that false start. Here we go. Fires that car in, currently sits on a 0 and needs to put in a 78.5 or more at the moment. That is at the moment. We've still got a lot of these drivers to get through as he fires through, back on the throttle again. He's trying to dial that car into the outside zone. He's come down the hill now, looking for that compression. Over that bump he goes. He flicks it into this outside zone. One more outside zone to go for Tony as he puts back bumper towards the wall and across the line.
Yeah, what a good redemption there. I mean, knowing that you had a mistake previously on your other run, and then whatever happened at the line there, I think you're right, just broke it. But judges said it was okay.
Yeah, look, Marcin saying to him, look, you get the countdown. Once you see the green, then go. To me, I think he sat there on the line with a car in gear. He was so pent up and needed to get the run out of him that he lifted off the clutch a little early, broke that beam, which takes almost nothing to break.
Almost nothing, yeah.
As soon as he broke that beam, it triggered a false start. Our startler Marshall Marcin was signifying to him, no, but you have to leave the line. You false started, so he had to, drive around the track, come back to the start line, and then wait for the judges to determine if it was a false start, could he run again? And they said, yes, you're allowed one false start, and you can run again. And there we go. 75 on the board, not enough for the show, as we lose this young man in competition.
Good to have him out, though. Good showing. I mean, always happy with the wildcard drivers getting their opportunity to shine, which is amazing.
Exactly that. So here we go. Back on the line, we go to another wildcard driver, Ville Kalkkonen, in this 200 SXS 14. And he gets off the line nice and clean. As Ville Kalkkonen now an 83.5 for his first qualifying run, sits himself in 27th for the moment. He'll want to climb up the order, and he looks like he's doing a good job of that so far as he flicks that car across the circuit. Nice line into this outside zone, nice and deep, up close and personal to the wall. So he comes down the hill, dials on the angle, a little shallow there, could have been a little wider, but nevertheless gets that job done. Final outside zone and across the line.
Yeah, really, really solid run. Other than that one spot, as we talked about, just the judges really want your front wheel along those lines. He kind of straddled it. But outside of that, I mean, really ticked all the boxes. Very, very comfortable behind the wheel here. Just look at how calm he is. It always shocks me how calm these drivers look behind the wheel. We're doing 100 kilometers an hour right into a concrete wall, and they just look like it's any other day commuting.
Yeah. They're firing a concrete wall that doesn't really move.
I mean, it does if you hit it hard enough.
It does if you hit it hard. That's a
bigger problem now.
That's a bigger problem.
Yeah.
And yet they still look so calm.
Yeah. But
that's why they're professional drivers.
We would be panicking. Although, I mean, I did see the promo. You look pretty confident in Laurie's car.
Laurie said to me, take it for a qualifying run. I said, hey, listen, I don't want to outshine you.
Nah, that'd be weird.
Event.
Exactly.
Just be weird. Sunday, when everyone's gone, I'll show you how to do a lap of the track.
I'll see you first thing in the morning.
There you go. Yeah.
I'll be there. Yeah, solid run. We'll see if he's able to better the score of an 83.5. Not sure. I think it'll be pretty close.
You think?
I think it'll be really close. 0.5
I'm kind of now wondering where the car's going to be for top 32. That's what I'm That's where I want to know. There we go. So it's an 84. It is an improvement. 27th, though. He doesn't move up the order. It's going to be a nervous wait for Ville Kalkinen. He goes over to his team and he says, look, I did what I could.
Yeah.
That's
Sometimes
the shape
that's all
of
you can do, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes that's it.
They move it along to the next driver on the line. It will be Teemu Asunmaa.
Bro, I know exactly how to feel trying to qualify.
86 for his first qualifying run.
Like,
Fires that car in right to the curb, it pushes him away though, and will that upset the line? It does ever so slightly, but then gets back into it, flexes the back end of BMW on the wall as he now works his way through the centre part of the circuit. A little bubble, a little wobble as he gets himself into the wall. A little bit more confidence though for this show. Oh! Hits the wheel on the dirt, and that really upsets the line, but he stays in it. Puts his foot back down on the throttle and gets himself across the line.
Wild. I mean, he was pushing deep in every zone. He was running every zone a good 3-4 meters past where it needed to. I mean, even that second outside zone, he leaves it so late, but it sets him up really well for the inside part. So you can see here through the second outside zone, look at how long he stays in there. Really stays in, but man,
it's a nice line though.
It is a really, really nice line. It sets things up. The judges could almost extend that zone a little bit longer, and a little bit late on the transition. Gets that dirt drop, throws it up into the air.
Oh, he didn't hit it hard.
There's a bit of a rut in there now. You know, he might be one of the last drivers who can get away with going that deep in there without bending some arms or breaking something else. So, man, that was a risky move, but we'll see if it ends up paying off with a bit better of a score for Teemu.
What the like?
Yeah, so there we go. Wait for the score to drop in from our judges.
86. Where do you think the cutoff's going to end up being?
Yeah, that's what I'm really curious because, you know, at the moment I'm going to flick through. It's still a 78.5, no improvement from any driver at the moment, and obviously, you know, Teemu's sitting on an 86 at the moment, so he's in the show.
86.
And an 80, so it's not an improvement. He stays where he is in 25th position. I'm going to say the cutoff is going to be around an 85, 86.
Okay, I was going to go 82. I wasn't going to go quite that high.
I think we're going to see a lot of these guys now start to push a lot harder than they did before. As we now go back to the line, it's going to be Nico Matala in this S15 Dodge NASCAR V8 underneath the bonnet as he flicks that car to angle. 78.5, 31st position at the moment. A tied score with Dave Egan. He needs to improve or he's going to find himself out of the show later on. Dials on the angle, and that's a nice line. Can he keep a hold of it? He certainly can as he puts himself into the outside zone. Could have been a little deeper to impress the judges, and another driver that just flicks a little dust in the face of the photographers down there at the back end of the circuit. On the throttle he goes, lights up the tyres and across the line.
Looks like he really pulled some speed out of this car to make it a bit more manageable.
Yeah,
a little twitchy.
to drive.
Yeah, a little twitchy before, a little crazy, get a little hectic out there, but this seems a lot smoother. Able to get around the course without looking like he's fighting the car. And it's weird because with the judges, you can kind of telegraph struggles. There's not like a column where it says, you know, I'm struggling to drive this car, right? There's nothing you can get deducted by that. But it can influence what they see and how they think about things like style, which may only be 20 points, but when we're in such a points race here, those 20 points, getting 1 or 2 is going to be the difference between making it and not. And when you're already that close on the bubble, I mean, based on what we're thinking is going to be the cutoff, that could be it. And as we start to see this dirt drop, look at the rut that's starting to develop here. And a lot of the times it's getting back on track where that rut can really create an issue, whether that's a D-beat or a broken arm or a broken wheel. So these drivers really need to be careful how hard they end up pushing as we start to move down this order, because one more wheel drop like that could be the end of somebody's weekend pretty quick.
It certainly could be, yeah. And we've seen it before. We've seen tracks before where they've dug in. Oh, look at that, and a mirror image score. And he's going to say, do you know what? That's all I had.
Literally.
That's all I could do. Like, that was me at my limit. That's the car at the limit. That is it. So here we go. We go back on the line. It's going to be Paulie Esperco. And he's going to, you know, try his best to do everything he can to improve on a score. Where did he get before? An 81.5, so he's in the show at the moment. There we go, ranked 29th at the moment. Full throttle though, no messing around. Look at this, he's going for this one. Shallows up the angle. Oh, and it's scrappy though. The back end of the car completely buried into the wall as he flicks through. Looks for this outside zone. He goes deep, nice and deep. Tags the bumper right on the end of the wall. He's fast as he comes down the hill. He's picked up the pace this time. Flicks it to angle as he's moving through the course with some determination into that last outside zone and across the line.
Yeah, very, very scrappy run. That's a great way of putting it, Ian. Just getting in there, really dragging the bumper. I mean, dragging the quarter panel at this point. That's how far into the wall he was.
But I wonder if that's going to be points deducted.
I mean, based on the judging criteria before, yes, it would be.
Which is a shame because me and you were like, yeah, look at this. There's no car left.
Yeah, it's really the qualifying run, this lead run, they're trying to develop a system that allows for a better chase. At the end of the day, what makes an exciting show is when two cars are parallel, going around the track, banging doors. Yeah. That's what we're here for. So by going too far into the zone, as we see there, the chase car can't really chase that. They've got to scrub something out, whether it's angle or line or proximity. They've got to pull something away. So this is trying to set up the qualifying run to allow for a great chase. That's what we see with the no-go zone, which I love that idea, provide that room. And see a bit of an improvement there.
It is an improvement.
All right.
It's going to be an 88.5 after that.
I think that comes up with the angle and style. I think a little bit of loss on the line, but the angle and style more than made up for it.
Yeah, exactly that. So Nasser Al-Habali now pulls to the line. A 0 on the first qualifying run. Didn't make it for his first qualifying run. So sits on a 0, failed to make it to the line. This is it. It's do or die right now for the man from the UAE as Nasser Al-Habali fires that car in. What can he do as he puts that car right to the outside zone, keeps it clean, keeps it back in, just off of the wall. He knows where it needs to be. He would have seen the scores dropping in, full throttle from the V8 underneath the bonnet as Nasser Al-Habali fires that car through the middle of the circuit, dials in on angle.
Oh my God,
this is a very nice line so far from this young man as he puts the car to the middle across the line.
Wow, you could not tell that he didn't do a previous run. It looked like he'd been practicing all day, had no downtime, and got right back out on track. Really solid run. I was a little concerned when I heard the rev limiter really, banging the whole time, but they've got that wheel speed dialed. That car looks really stable. Normally when you start hearing that much rev limiter, it means that car's not set up correctly. Not the case here. Almost using the rev limiter to keep the wheel speed constant, which I mean, not the first time I've seen that or heard that. Just wasn't expecting it on this track, but really, really solid run here. Love the way he points the front end of the car in, transitions well, catches it. That is solid. I'm not sure. Do you know why they didn't make it to the line for the first one?
No, I went down to the paddock before qualifying and they were working under the car. They were working on the front suspension, so I'm not sure what happened with that car. I'm sure we'll find out from Nasser Al-Habali maybe later on. Residing in Dubai now, originally from El Salvador. The 31-year-old driver, supercharged LS underneath the bonnet. The sound of that car is just, it's incredible.
He's just fighting to get out to see a score.
Get out of the car. He's like, I want to see my score. Am I in the show? They worked tirelessly to get that car into the show, and you can see other crews around him and spotters saying,
what do you think? What do you think? Do you think I did it?
Yeah. Where are we? We know what the cutoff is.
Yeah, that's this part right now, this purgatory that they're in. That's got to be the worst feeling, especially not banking it to the line for the first one. One shot, one opportunity to put it down and to lay a run down, and the score that you need to beat. And man, it was a really solid run. Judges' scores should be coming in now. They're done reviewing. This young man waits in anticipation. I cannot imagine what's going through his head. Look how antsy he looks.
Yeah, the pressure. Everything's on his shoulders right now. Is it enough to get him into the show? Score drops in, an 85.5. It's going to be a nervous wait for Nasser Al-Habali. His 27th position at the moment. He shakes his head, and I think he knows that it might not be enough.
It's going to be close.
It's going to be close. Here we go. Back on the line we go to David Garvey, brother of Dylan Garvey. We've seen Drift Masters just some years ago.
Oh my God, that
in this
wing.
PS13 screams through the gears as he fires that car across the circuit. Garvey on the throttle nice and early, hangs that spoiler
Oh,
over
it's
the wall,
above. Okay, it's
danger.
fine.
Backs out of it ever so slightly, almost falls completely out of the outside zone, but keeps a hold of it right now as Garvey, a tentative flick across the circuit once again into the outside zone 4. Now down the hill he comes, gets that car positioned perfectly with the white lines. He flicks it in to the outside zone. One more zone to go as he puts the spoiler to the wall and across the line.
Listen, I really like big spoilers on cars. I'm a fan of it. I've always thought, and this is a weird concept, that it can help with line because it really highlights where the back of the car is.
Yeah.
And if you drive the car well, it's really going to showcase that. It's going to show the judges exactly where the rear end of the car is. It's going to make it look like you're filling all those zones. I really do think we're at a point in drifting where those small advantages are the difference. When we're this close in qualifying, just highlighting how good your line is, and unfortunately sometimes highlighting how bad it can be.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I've even got to the point of like drivers shouldn't wear white or bright gloves because the judges can see their hands flying around in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe I'm going a little deep, but that was a great lead run there. Great qualifying run. Just able to put it on the wall, and that giant wing. I don't know. I think to me it really can showcase where you're placing the car as they come through.
Yeah, it certainly can. So Garvey sits on the line. There we go. And it is an improvement at 73.5. Drops him into 30th position at the moment.
83, yeah.
Wait.
So there we go. Now we're looking at a 79 on the cut-off. As Spossop has moved himself into the cut-off position. We go back to the line. It's going to be George Christoforou in the BMW 1 Series, a 77. So out of the show now in 36th position. What can he do? He was scrappy on his first qualifying run. Put that car to the wall too many times. Upset the line. Can he keep it a little cleaner this time? The man from Cyprus flies in. And this BMW 1 Series puts that car right where it needs to be. No upset this time, but he does just get right to the edge of that outside zone as he fires through now. Tries to pick up the pace and put the car right where it needs to be to impress the judges. As Christoforou comes down the hill over that bump. It's the front wheels on those white lines. Takes a little bit of curve, but it won't be too many points deducted from Christoforou across the line.
Yeah, just comes out of the second outside zone in the last quarter, and the judges actually have this broken down into quarters. So based on when you come into the zone, how long you can hold it, and when you come out. So coming out of that zone just a little bit might be the 1 or 2 points he'd be missing to make it through qualifying. Able to keep it in the zone though. Doesn't leave it, super early, just a little bit shallow through it coming off. But George, I like that he's dialed things back. I really like that he's not as aggressive. That is going to be, if he makes it through, that will be the decision that got him through, is not banging it through the wall, not being crazy. Got it through on that first one, but now able to dial things back, a little bit more calm. Well, still showing that flair, still dragging the bumper, still having a good time, but looks controlled.
Yeah, you nailed it. He took aggression out, which he probably went back and watched his first qualifying run and said, I was too aggressive, I was too far into the wall, it was upsetting the car, that's not what the judges wanted to see. Let's dial it back 10%. Let's go back out there and rethink about what we did and see if we can't get ourselves in the show. It's Christoforou, we wait for that score to drop in. Judges still deliberating it, looking at replays from all different angles. And he puts his hands on his head, he said, have I done enough? Score drops in at 85.5, and he does improve for the moment as Christoforou gets himself into 27th position.
Getting close.
And he says, look, he goes out with the shaky hands. He's like, I'm not sure. We go back to the start line to a man that rebuilt a brand new engine in the paddock hours ago. Espen Road, ladies and gentlemen, didn't get to the line for his first qualifying run. They rebuilt a brand new engine to get him out for qualifying. Can this do the job as he fires in the man from Norway? M50 turbo, 1,000 horsepower right now as Espen Road puts it into use, fires through the middle of the circuit, full of confidence, and he knows he needs to do everything he can as Espen Road puts that car right to the edge of the track, a little wobble, but he holds on to it as Espen Road flicks that car from the second to last outside zone. He's deep, he tags the wall, takes the tail light out and evades that last outside zone.
Just desperation. I mean, your team is thrashed. The bearings in that engine came out looking like scraps of tinfoil.
That's why
I don't know if they rebuilt or they got another one, but either way, he made it out on track, and that might be the win for him this weekend.
Well, word is he got on the phone to somebody local that had a similar engine. He purchased the engine, they stripped it, rebuilt it, put everything that they had on that engine in the car, had someone look at the tune, and then went out.
Wild. So yeah, just getting out on track, to me, is as big of a win as you're going to get.
Yeah.
The run was very scrappy, and he's missed a ton of practice, a ton of setup time to really understand what this car needs to be. So the amount of practice he would have gotten in the beginning was, I believe, like 1 or 2 laps.
Yeah.
That's all he's gotten on this track today.
I think that for me will seal the deal. That final outside zone, I think that might just seal the deal. It will be a score on the board, I think,
I agree.
for Espen Road, but I don't think that's going to be enough to get him in the show, unfortunately. I think contact with the wall that heavy, upsetting the line, is not what the judges were looking for, and we've seen how critical that line is so far in qualifying, and we've seen the scores. And here we go, it drops in, it's a 67 for Espen Road. Unfortunately, won't make it out into the big show tomorrow, but you know what? Fair play to his team and fair play to everyone. And look, you see the despair there from the team saying, we tried so hard. Well, another man sitting on a 0 is this man, Timo Peltola. Problems with that diesel. Didn't want to initiate, had some understeer. What was it? Have they got it fixed? He's through the gears now, looking a little bit more confident as he flicks that wagon across the circuit, unleashes the throttle, and it is back on power, and it is starting to work for Timo Peltola as he finds the outside zone. Now starts to get himself into the flow of things as Peltola looks for this outside zone along the wall. Outside zone 4 fires it down the hill. He's carrying a lot of speed, but it works for him as he flicks it to the second to last outside zone. A big clutch kick on throttle. The smoke erupts from every angle of the car.
This is going to be so tight for him. I don't know if it ended up being the e-brake was the issue, but the amount of fear that's going to be in you having to grab that e-brake for the first time, whether it was that or something else, but it's so concerning when something's broken on your first run to come back in and have a confidence to be able to huck it at the wall at 100 kilometers an hour. Not easy, but we see the man, the myth, the legend throwing down, just going for it. Caution to the wind, smoke rolling out, mullet waving behind him. Absolutely epic run here. Look, just hunched over, looking for the next zone, trying to figure out where he needs to put it. But I love the angle that he's able to get out of this car. It drives unlike anything else. Not just the diesel, but the amount of weight that's there.
Engine.
The car rotates so differently than anything else. It's just so much fun to watch. And it being a wagon or an estate or whatever you want to call it, just neat to me. And the personality behind the whole team, to me, is probably my favorite part.
Yeah.
It's so tough to do this and so tough to drive it right on the bubble. Oh, no.
That's 83.5 for Timo Peltola. Puts him right on the cut-off for qualifying, and still with a lot of zeros and a lot of low scores on the board. Could it be enough to keep him in the show? We're going to find out. Fionn Roche now from Ireland sits on the line. A driver with another 0 after that first qualifying run. That car cutting out, or we believe, or maybe mechanical issues, but it looks like they've got it fixed and back out ready to go. As he flicks that car across the circuit, nice initiation from Fionn Roche right now. And he's on the foot brake. It seems to be working for him as he dials the back end of that GT86 into the outside zone. The 2JZ singing at the moment. Comes through the centre of the circuit. Nice flick, quick transition as Fionn Roche puts it right where it needs to be. And this looks impressive from the young Irishman as he comes down the hill. A little check up, but gets back into it on the handbrake through the outside zone, up to the wall and across the line.
So much better. So much better. There's so many countries that are producing incredible drivers. Obviously, Finland is one of them. The scape is nuts, and Ireland, it's undeniable what the level of driving that has come out of that country.
Yeah.
Fionn Roche doesn't get the attention he deserves, and this will hopefully bring a bit more to him because crushes out this run. Great line, really aggressive. You got to think about the people he grew up driving against. Just some of the greatest of all time, and it shows in the amount of pressure that he would have gone through throughout his entire career and continues to go through today. Having that mechanical, getting back out there, driving with this level of aggression. Fionn Roche deserves to be here and deserves to be amongst the ranks of the greatest Irish drivers that are of all time. And this proves it to me. Coming back with this much confidence after having a mechanical, it's not easy. You go one of two ways. Yeah. You just give up and go, okay, I'm going to put down something, or you go full aggression, and you can see the respect from his fellow drivers.
Yeah, there we go, an 85 on the ball dead for Fionn Roche, and a little, he shakes his head, and I think he thinks it was better than that. And look at this Conor Falvey, two of the youngest guys on the grid giving each other advice. It's crazy to see, but that's just how old these guys are thinking in their head. We go back on the line to a man that stole the show for the first qualifying run. It is, of course, Dwayne McKeever, down in the order due to the problems at round 1, but no issues so far in this borrowed S15 as he fires it in. Up into the outside zone goes McKeever. He knows there's more to be had out there. And look at that, it's absolutely textbook from McKeever so far. Comes through the centre of the circuit, avoids that no-go zone. Deep onto the wall again, just tickles the tail light out the back end of the 15. As he now puts foot to floor, he flicks it across the circuit. A little jab of the handbrake. Back on throttle he goes as McKeever is on full.
Does not care this is not his car. Probably drives it more aggressively because it's not his car. It is insane what this man is able to do. Driving around the track, using every part of the car to figure out where the walls are, where the bumper is. Look at how stable he is coming through this. Just microaggressions, that's it. Whipping the wheel back around. I don't know anybody else who really drives that way, where he's forcing the wheel. No, I need you to transition quicker. Oh, man, his driving is nuts. I love the way his style has progressed, his aggression, his confidence in this car. It's so cool to see because nobody else drives like Dwayne McKeever does.
No, for me, McKeever's aggression and style are two of the standout highlights of who he is as a driver. And when we don't get to see it, it's such a shame because he is an incredible driver. We wait that score to drop in for Dwayne McKeever. What can he do? As he gets out of the car, big beam, smile, and it's a 98 on the board for Dwayne McKeever. And what a statement from the man from Northern Ireland. They call him the Northern Smoke Machine for a reason. His team say, look, we did it. It was a lot of hard work, but we're here and we did it. And we're sitting in second place in qualifying at the moment. Back on the line we go. We don't stop the hustle here at Drift Masters. It's going to be Yves Meyer up next at 91.5 on his first qualifying run. The man is feeling super confident in this GR Supra. What can he do to improve? To be honest, I think he's had a weekend of a lifetime at the moment. Comes off the start line, through the gears he goes. The GR Supra B58 singing as he flicks it across the circuit, just kisses the curb, pushes himself where he needs to be. Heavy tag on the wall, but he deals with it. As Yves Meyer now looks for that inner zone, flicks the car across the circuit, looks for this outside zone, a little wobble, tries to dial that car into the wall as close as he can as he covers big angle, big speed, down the hill, up the hill he goes, clutch kicks that car across the line.
This is the quintessential crossing the line to figure out where it lays. And that's what Yves Meyer is doing, trying to figure out where can I pick up a couple more points, where can I make the difference between doing well in qualifying and topping qualifying. And sometimes when you cross that line, it does bite back a little bit. And that hit on the wall changed everything for Yves Meyer. You pick up a little bit more speed when you do that. It pulls some of the angle out of the car. And now, with the rest of this run, he had to fight that all the way through.
He certainly did.
I don't think it's a mistake he's going to make again. He knows where that edge is at this point. But early on in the run, when you do that, it's so difficult to come back with it. I believe Connor said it earlier, like if you make a mistake anywhere, you can't hide it. You can't come back from it.
Look at the rear wheel. I just noticed when he tagged the wall, it bent the rear wheel on the back of that Supra.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. Look at the contact patch. I nerd out about that.
Nerd out.
I know. It's just, drifting to me is such a fascinating sport.
There we go, yeah. Judge is not liking it as much. An 83 for his second qualifying run. Won't improve. Stays where he is at the moment in 15th position with a 91.5.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
These guys are here for business this weekend. We go back on the start line to the man from the Netherlands, Clint Van Oort. Over-aggressive.
Yes.
Another driver over-aggressive. Can he dial it back? He scored an 89.5, 20th position for Van Oort at the moment. What can he do? And this looks like he's tamed it down maybe a little bit. Not so aggressive into this outside zone as Clint Van Oort puts the spoiler on the wall, tickles the tail light again out of the back end of that S14A as he puts bumper to the wall. This is beautiful from Van Oort at the moment. It's very technical, shallow angle though into the outside zone as he now flicks it to angle in that second to last outside zone, up into the wall he goes and across the line.
Arguably the hardest working person at this event is the gentleman that has to repair the body kit for Clint Van Oort, because there's barely anything hanging on through this run, but he's still showing the aggression through it. He's still able to drive the way that he likes to drive, which is hard into everything, snapping the car around, but he doesn't do it in a way that creates a lot of issues. I don't know how this car is even together still, because it looks like everything's just rattling and moving, because Clint Van Oort drives so aggressive. Look at that whole back end of the car. Looks like it's ready to fly off at any moment. Other than the one shallowing section that you talked about earlier, he's got this nailed.
Yeah.
He's got it dialed, and he's looking confident in it. When this comes down to top 32, when this comes into battles, man, I'm calling it now. He is going to be doing well. He's going to be someone who's hard to go up in battle. His ability to be this aggressive and somehow have the car make it through the entire run needs to be studied by every other driver.
I think the thing for me, Van Oort, he comes out sometimes with too much aggression. Agreed. Tries too hard. And there we go, a 91.5 puts Clint Van Oort way back into the show, and he is very much in the top 32 for tomorrow. Sits in 15th position at the moment as things lie as we get through qualifying. A man, though, that scored a 92 on his first qualifying run and that said to Becky, there's more out there. We can push harder. We can go closer to the walls. We can go faster. What can Kuba Bashkonsky do right now as he comes firing through in this GR86 in tatters at round one?
I mean, he has a high point,
but now looking immaculate at round three. Puts that rear bumper just close enough to the wall to take the paint off, but not too far into it to damage it. Looks shy outside zone 4, but will he make it up for the rest of the run? As he does, and he's going to go very wide, just about keeps it between the white lines on the tarmac as he puts it bumper to wall across the line.
This looks like a very different line than he took previously too. His ability to kind of experiment between the runs, took a mid-line on initiation, pushed him out really nice and wide for 1 and 2, and then gets a little hoppy through the rest of the run. You can see that car not unsettled, just maybe stiffer setup in the car, making it bounce a little bit. But all the zones look really good. And you can see just the car's a little bit tight. Just it's very small, short bounces as it comes through the run, which allows him to do some different things. Allows the car to push out a bit wider, pulls a bit of speed out of it to do it. But that little bit of hopping tells everything about how they've changed up this car. So really cool to see that they're actually making changes
during qualifying,
in between qualifying runs, to see where else they can find it. And everybody is looking for everything or anything just to get a few more points on the board to move up a bit higher.
Yep.
So an 87 for his second qualifying run score, and wasn't as good as his first, and quite clearly stated there by the judges. And he says, okay, fair enough. Well, we move along. We go back to the start line to Benedictus Cherba. That car shutting down on the first qualifying run. Still unsure of what the issue was with the Cherba fighter, the BMW E92 carbon Kevlar, as he fires through. No such issue so far on initiation. Gets it back into that car, into that zone. Now, can he make it through past where it shut down last time? Carries big angle into that inner zone. It's going to pay off for him, though, as he flicks that car into outside zone 4. Now, down the hill he comes. Big angle, big speed from Cherba as he avoids those white lines, flicks it through that zone. With one more zone to go as Cherba puts it to the wall and across the line.
Yeah, tons of angle. Just going lock to lock between the zones, trying to make up those points in really what is angle and style. And all these drivers know that now, where it's expected to have a 55-point line run, make up the difference somewhere else, and the only other two spots is going to be the angle and style. But yeah, figuring out what that mechanical is, I would love to know. I might have to go bug him down in the pits later on just to understand. Although some of the times drivers won't tell you, it was nothing, it was nothing. No, nothing. But you could not tell that he was fighting any sort of mechanical through this run. So I'll go out on a limb. I'll say that's going to be enough to get him in the show.
Yeah?
I think we're going to see a pretty decent line.
I think it's going to be close to the cutoff. I think Cherba's going to be sitting there nervously waiting to see if he is going to be in the show as we move through qualifying. I think he's going to be in there, but not as far in as what we assume. But hey, we are just speculating as drift fans, like you at home are saying that is probably enough.
Yeah.
Because everyone does it. Everyone watches drifting at home. Even here in attendance, everyone's watching this and saying, that's enough for the show. It is enough for the show. It's a 92 on the board, and it's going to be enough for 14. I was wrong. You were right. And there's probably the split as could divide all around the world of everyone watching right now.
Yeah.
Right, we go back on the line. It's going to be Jakob Kroll in his Nissan 206 S14.9 carbon Kevlar, 2JZ powered car as he comes off the line, making that switch from the BMW chassis to the Nissan chassis and not regretting it one bit as Kroll now puts the back end of that car into this outside zone, sits with a 91 at the moment, comfortable in 18th position, but he want to climb himself up the order to try and get a nicer battle in top 32 tomorrow, and it's looking good so far from the Polishman as Kroll comes down the hill, just avoids those white lines, carrying quite a lot of speed as Kroll absolutely ripping through the circuit, up high on the bank and across the line.
Wow, solid run from Kroll. It's hard to find more words to explain how good these drivers are and how good they're getting and how much faster they're getting. I mean, our average speed before was sitting at 100 kilometers an hour. We're getting it higher and higher every run, where drivers are now well breaking into the hundreds. And it shows that rubber going down on track. It shows that these drivers have to adapt to a change in track. That rubber going down is speeding things up. It is getting quicker. Our average speeds are going up. Our initiation speed is going up. And our angle degree is going up as well. So it's not just you at home or you and I chatting about this thinking these guys are getting better every run. The data supports it.
Yeah.
The scores support it. I support it because it just makes for better drifting. And Jakob Kroll, man, just solid run.
There we go. It is an improvement of 93.5 for Kroll on his second qualifying run. Moves him up into the top 10 so far. And he'll be feeling very confident after that second qualifying run. We go back on the line. So the man that was on the cut-off now sits 37th with a 78.5. Dave Egan in the carbon Kevlar Superjet. The A90 Supra pulls up to the line, and Dave Egan said, well, it's either going to be a crash or a 99-point run. What has the man from Ireland got as he slams through the gears? The Drift Game Supra flicks to angle as he doesn't even handbrake. And he hits the wall bad. And he called it himself earlier on. He said he had to go for it. He
No,
said it had to be 100% or nothing. As Egan sits in the car, you can see it's helmet down. He's dejected.
That's exactly what he did. He foreshadowed
And
it.
hear the sigh from the onboard as he says,
"Oh man,
he had to give it everything." And he knew it himself. Jacob, he knew what he had to do. He knew the level. He knew what everybody else was doing on the grid as he slams the door shut, waves to the crowd. It has to be 100% or nothing.
You have to go into it knowing that, and he was already out of qualifying. That's the hard part here.
Yeah.
Guaranteed someone told him that, Dave, this is it. You've got to better your score. You're not making in the show.
The flick
and
was
he
good,
went
though.
for it right
Look at
off the
that.
bat. Super quick off it. Really good feint initiation on throttle. Gets the angle. Just not enough. Not enough in the car. Just not enough wheel speed to keep that backhand out and to push it out, and he knew immediately.
Yeah.
I think he knew before he even got into the zone. If he would have pulled that off, I mean, another 2% on the throttle was the difference between filling that zone and filling it into the wall.
Because if it was just a back bumper,
absolutely
Calvin
heartbreaking
Kavanaugh, he would have just
from
bent and he could have kept going.
an absolute icon in the sport.
Yeah, I mean, look, we have to make it official. It will be a 0 for Dave Egan, his second qualifying run. I mean, look, you know, as a driver, you go out there and you say, I haven't done enough in my first qualifying run. I have to push it to the absolute limit. And sometimes that limit can sometimes come up and grab you so quick, and we've seen it time and time again in the past where drivers have to push past their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And you know, this is Dave Egan's rookie year at Drift Masters. He's feeling things out, he's working it out, and he'll be the first person to admit that this is the first time he's ever driven a car at this level, at this grip, with this much power.
Right.
And you know, Dave has had to push himself past his comfort zone to get into the realms of what these guys are doing and to get himself in the show. Becky's with Dave. Dave, how are you feeling, mate?
On a sim. He
Dave,
barely gets to
well,
drive his
you
sim.
weren't joking. You said this is either going to be a 100-point run or a crash.
The big boss of drift games.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Bruised ego, I think, a little bit. I mean, I knew when I saw the scores coming in that if you were going out here to get a 78, 80, 82, there is no tomorrow. So I drove like there's no tomorrow. I wanted to come in on the biggest angle, the highest speed that anyone's done all day. I achieved it. The problem is there's a big wall at the end of that, and I nearly got away with it. I just felt the back. I panicked a little bit. A bit more experience might have got me through it. But yeah, I mean, I'm not here to have a fancy car, make up the numbers. I want to try and push myself, push the limit, and do the best I can. I might not be the best driver on the grid, but I think today I tried my best. And sometimes it just doesn't go the way you want.
Sure, look, that's all you can do at the end of the day is try your best. I mean, do you think it was a slight bit of understeer once you realised that the car was going that deep into the wall?
I just went in too deep and I didn't brake enough. So I hit the back of the car. And once it hit the back, it kind of stepped me out and put the front in. It can happen really easily here. But from my perspective right now, I mean, the car will be fixed. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I guess you got to realize that it's quite dangerous. A lot of these guys make this look so easy, but it's quite dangerous. It is on the edge. And to try and get in that top 32, you got to put it all on the line. So I'm happy I did. If I had backed off and done a weak run, I'd have been actually more angry than I am now.
I mean, can we hazard a look at the car and see what the damage is right now, or is that a bit too painful for you?
It's very, very convenient that the next round is Ireland, because we need to get this thing back and fixed very soon.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. Let's take a quick look here.
Oh, yeah, that's...
I mean, carbon Kevlar, it bounces back out.
Yeah, carbon
you know, the front
Kevlar
end's not
bounces
looking
back
too
out.
bad right now. It might be a few little bends in the front steering there.
You know, it was due some upgrades anyway. I mean, we had the car a whole 2 rounds. How could it stay so clean?
You know, this is the way I talk to James about it. I'm like, look, I've smashed it to bits. It's now time for an upgrade. So I'm with the plan.
Well, apparently, the rite of passage for every Drift Masters driver is one big crash. Hopefully mine is now out of the way.
Well, I absolutely am with you on that one, Dave. Look, I'm glad that you're okay. I'm sorry this has happened. It's all part of the process, and I'm sure you'll come out swinging when we go to Ireland.
Best thing is I get to watch my teammate Conor Falvey and the rest of the boys for the rest of the weekend and party with these amazing Finnish fans. And boy, are we going to party.
100%. There you have it, guys. Dave is absolutely fine, thank goodness. But we'll see him in Ireland.
Thanks, Becky. Yeah, we certainly will see him at his home track. And those guys now trying to battle to get that car on track. You can see that passenger side front wheel, or right-hand side, sorry, front wheel ripped off of the car as he made contact with the wall. And like Dave says, these guys make it look so easy.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show you how many hours these guys have had in the car, how much experience they have as drivers. They've been there, they've done it, they've pushed to the limits. And Dave said it himself, with a little bit more experience, I maybe would have realised what was going on quicker and got myself out of that situation. You know, you would have took James Dean or Dwayne McKeever or Jack Shanahan or any one of those drivers, Laurie Heineman, anybody on the grid and said, if I run the wall and I feel the car get, you know, a little unsettled on the wall, what would you do? And every driver would have had a different reaction. Oh, you want to dial some angle in. You want to clutch kick the car. You want to push the throttle to 110%. You want to get more out of the car. But until you've experienced it, until you've done it, until you've made those mistakes, you just don't know. And as Dave said, this is experience. You can't come out here and make up the numbers. You have to come out here swinging. You have to come out here and try these things. Otherwise, who are you going to be?
Yeah, and you need to have situations like this happen, unfortunately, to gain the instincts to know what to do. And this happens so fast. I mean, he hit the wall at 85 kilometers an hour.
Oh, you looked at the data?
Oh, of course I did. First thing I did. Okay, how fast is it going?
Beast,
I know. But at that speed, you can't even think.
No.
It is 100% instinctual, and it's just a matter of what he did there instinctually may have worked with a car with 300 less horsepower or less grip or less speed or whatever. And having to adapt to the pro level, that means now that everything happens faster. Your instincts need to be faster. And you have to figure that out, or situations like this happen. So fingers crossed this never happens again. This becomes a learning opportunity for him and for any other driver as to this is what goes on if you go that little bit too deep. And if anybody's going to learn from it, is Dave. He's going to come back swinging. He's got so much more pressure now, though, going into Ireland, going into his home track. That's just the next thing he's got to work on is getting that straight and getting ready for that event. But as he said, he now gets to sit and watch and party and hang out, always making the best of a terrible situation.
Of course, and that is what Dave Egan's very good at. He is good at partying.
It's true. Yeah, I've seen it.
Bro,
We've seen it firsthand.
Although I've heard the Finnish fans may put a run for his money.
They'll definitely put him through his paces.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So, well, look, we're going to go down to Dave's teammate, who was Rookie of the Year in 2024. He's now sitting in the top 8 of the championship in 2025, and big things expected. Becky's with Connor Falvey.
Connor, it's not always ideal when you see a teammate in the wall there. Can you tell us what happened from your point of view?
He said he was going to give it everything, and he did, to be fair to him. But he's still positive. That's one thing about Dave. He's always positive. Like, obviously, I'm sickened that he's not in the show, but we need to get myself in the show as well, so we're going to have to give it everything. But unfortunately, Dave, he's out now, but it's sickening, to be honest, because he was looking good in practice, and he's putting so much effort into it. So I would have really liked to see him in, but that's the joys of drifting. Like, it doesn't always go your way.
Well, we saw you get an 86 in your first run. Actually, let's rewind it back to 2024. You got an 86 in your qualifying run last year. You were shaking your head. It's not what you want, is it?
No, it's not what I want, but I was just kind of having a fit, to be honest. I shouldn't have probably acted like that, but I just put a lot of effort into it, so I just need to refresh now. I know where I went wrong, so I'm just going to refresh now and go back out, and hopefully we can improve.
Connor, you're a very composed young man. You were acting absolutely fine. I think if I got an 86 on the board, I would be jumping around. So I think you're doing fine here. Can you tell us what you've been up to sort of between the rounds? Have you been on the sim? Have you been checking out this track? So I know you do a lot of sim practice before you get here.
Yeah. So after Spain, I had exams in school, so I had to finish them, and then I could go at the sim. So once my last exam finished, I went straight home and got on the sim and practiced every hour, to be honest.
That's amazing. Honestly, I can tell you when I was doing my exams, I was not practicing on a sim rig. So good luck in your second run. I'm sure you'll give it everything, and we'll see you very soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Guys, back to you. On a rig after exams. I was definitely out in the park.
I know, right? and I hear from his parents that he's actually doing very, very well at school.
Yeah.
So that young man has an incredibly bright future, because not only is he excelling at school, he's also excelling as a driver, and he's improving year on year. Look, these things happen. Connor Falvey, for me, interesting fact, Becky, 86 last year. She knows way more than me about drift facts.
That's crazy. I wonder if he got an 86 on his exam. Maybe he's got to change his driver number to 86.
Can he break the 86 curse?
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
He's in the show at the moment. Like, I've just flicked through and had a look. He's currently sitting in 25th position with an 86.5.
Okay.
I just wonder if Conor Falvey can break that 86 curse and maybe jump into the 90s, get himself higher up into the show, as we see Dave Egan and that carbon Kevlar A90 Super making its way off the track. Dave gives a wave to the camera. Always in a good mood, even when things aren't going that bad, because like he said, it's a dream to be there, let alone, you know, be on that grid and driving with some of these incredible drivers. Looks like our track cleanup is almost over. We remove our stunt show from the track.
Love it. Love the stunt show.
Yeah, you like the stunt show.
I do. It's great. Keeps me going. Keeps me entertained.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Easy. It's diesel cars and motorbikes.
And big wings on cars. I am such a simple creature.
You are a simple creature.
Hey, the qualifying leaders.
But we're here for it.
Yeah.
You know, you're not demanding too much.
No, just 2 liters of coffee at my desk every day, and other than that, I'm set.
And a desk.
And a desk.
I've never had a desk. So. Right, we're going back on the line with the next contender. It is going to be the one and only Mika Keski-Korpi, 94. He held on to that first place qualifying top spot for as long as he could, but was toppled in the end. What can Mika Keski-Korpi do right now? He's seen the scores drop in, he's sitting in a good position. This young man, they want to be higher up on the ball. Look at that big flick across the track. And the Finnish driver fires that car right where it needs to be. A little lock-up once again. Keski-Korpi, as he puts the back end, flexes that carbon Kevlar F22 BMW right into the wall. Fires through, very nice line. Keski-Korpi readjusts the back end of the car as he comes down the hill. This is absolutely beautiful from Mika Keski-Korpi as he puts foot to floor once again, up into the wall, across the line.
Solid run. Look it. When your
is like,
when your competitors are laughing and smiling and clapping, you know that's like a driver's run.
Yeah.
Right. That's a run you lay down to show everybody else. He really is a driver's driver. He's fun. He's exciting. He's the first guy to give you a big hug, tell you about everything, invite you into the pits. One of the people that I kind of latched onto right away.
Yeah.
Absolutely love this guy from both his style to his personal to everything. Mika Keski-Korpi, to me, has everything to be a champion. He's got the attitude, he's got the personality, he's got the driving, he's got the car, livery, the pits, everything. He really is just a phenomenal athlete and a phenomenal driver, and just, man, that run, that was fun. That was exciting. He had a good time. Look at this man. Absolutely love it.
Oh, wow. And how about that? He says, you know what?
Number 3,
Look at the back of the car. Another 94 on the board for Mika Keski-Korpi. I tell you something. A man that can do 2 consistent qualifying runs that high up is a dangerous beast to go ahead, go head-to-head with tomorrow. We go back to the start line to Jarkko Jula, the man that made a debut here in Finland in this incredible JZX 100. Comes off the line to JZ. An 89 on the board. What can he do? Jarkko Jula, 22nd position. Oh, it's deep into the wall. And that's a big error. The bits of the yellow wheel and the tyre, and he shredded the back end of that car. Absolutely in ribbons is Jarkko Jula's JZX 100.
It's another driver pushing for those extra points. Everybody knows. Everybody's on notice now that if you want to do this, you can see that tire still smoking. Yeah. Oh, man. Rough. I mean, look, at big handbrake just gets on the throttle just a moment too late. That's all it was.
So that's why.
And, you know, if you would have had a bit more angle, the gigantic trunk that is that car might have saved him as you see bits and pieces of the wheels flying around. Thought I even saw a suspension piece there for a second, but rough. Yeah, just didn't get on the throttle, you know, at the exact moment. That's it. That's all.
That's
all this is. Yeah. And I mean, it really is the difference of maybe a tenth of a second to either have a perfect outside zone or we bring out the equipment again. Still smoking. Wow.
That tire's like, thank God that's over. That was a rough ride.
Early retirement.
That's a rough ride.
Early retirement. Oh, man. Well, our team here at the track coming out.
They're getting a workout.
That's good.
They're being put through the paces this weekend.
That's okay. It's kind of practice for them. You know?
For tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get into the show.
Warm them up a little bit.
Tough go.
Well, there we go. Jarkko Jula out of the car. We wait for the recovery to come and collect Jarkko Jula as
down to 30th position.
Digger comes back out. You'll be happy to know to repair the wall. Now heavy machinery.
Yes. So you like heavy machinery too?
You like
put that on
machinery?
the list? Yeah.
You missed Sweden many moons ago. We had a scoopy. We had a car scoop.
Oh wow! Yeah. No, I mean I've saw it.
You've seen it because you've watched back Drift Masters.
What 4 years worth is what I watched in the off season. Yeah, a lot of it. My family became big Drift Masters fans. They were
overnight.
Yeah.
They were
just binge watched it.
It
was great.
Yeah, like a series, like a documentary.
Just 4 years worth. But Yeah, it felt like you were in my home the whole time.
Yeah.
As we get he's got the phone out.
Yeah, look at that, taking a selfie with the wheel. Well, let's talk to a man who's in the show and feeling and looking confident. Becky's with the one and only Norwegian sledgehammer, Tor Arne Kavir.
Yep, we're just having a little bit of a catch-up here. Tor's sat patiently waiting in his 1UZ S13. You've got a 92.5. What do you think it takes to push it above that number and try and take the top spot here?
I think you gotta be driving beyond your own limits, especially it seems like they're really getting high scores if you do a really hard initiation and go wide out to the wall immediately. So we'll try that now, try some good old tricks, and hopefully we'll be up there ourselves.
What sort of setup do you put on the car like for a track like this?
The same as we always run. It's simple and easy in our team. I want to have a car that I can trust, the car that I know every time I drive it. So it's pretty much the same as in Spain, just different ratio and tire pressure.
Is there any drivers that you particularly like to line up with this weekend? We have a few new drivers coming to the Drift Masters grid. We have some wild cards. Is there anyone that you're like, you know what? I'd love to battle him.
My dream is to battle James in a final. That is my lifelong dream. And if I would beat him, I would quit drifting.
You do a little Nico Rosberg move there, just like, right, won it, I'm out.
The only person who has beaten him
Well,
so
thank you
far
very
is
much, Tor,
RCB.
and hopefully that happens for you this weekend, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, guys. Beat James Dean in the final. That's high on the top of the things that they want to get done.
Yeah, I think that's a dream of most people.
I mean, it's on my list, that's for sure.
Battle James Dean, beat him, and then just never, ever step in a drift car or go to a drift event ever again. Just disappear.
Yeah.
And as Becky perfectly explained it, and Nico Rosberg.
Maybe I could beat him at ping pong.
There's got to be something he's really bad at, like stamp collecting.
Computers.
Computers?
He's not great with computers.
Nor am I.
Hey,
So
it
would be a really terrible...
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be. Spreadsheets?
Well, you'd have to design a spreadsheet. Me and James would fail so hard at that.
It wouldn't be a very exciting race, but it's one I might be able to win.
You could win it, hands down, yeah. And then just quit spreadsheets.
I would retire spreadsheets at that
How
point.
have we got to spreadsheets at a drift event? I'll never know. Well, there we go. There we go. Mini. Oh, we're hearing it. We're hearing it.
Reports are in.
We're hearing it. We know what James is bad at.
Go on.
Mini golf.
Wow.
I'm really good at mini golf.
I think there's one nearby. Shall we? Sunday, what are you up to?
Flying back to the UK.
I think we have to delay that so we can compete against James Dean in mini golf.
No,
he's too tall. That's the issue. Everything is mini golf to him. He's so big.
Do you know what? Someone will come on board, build him a custom club, and then it's just game over for everyone.
Now
he'll
that
design his own club, make his own club, and then just beat everyone.
Yeah, I believe it.
You know?
And he'll have a big V8 on it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think now that he knows that, he's going to become the best at mini golf. Yeah. And it won't take long. It'll take him 2 days.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
One round of mini golf.
Perfect 18. That'll be it. Walks away. Retires from mini golf forever.
Well, we've gone from spreadsheets to mini golf, and we're back on track waiting for Jarkko Euler's JZX100 to get recovered. If you're only just joining us here at round 3, where qualifying has been quite the theme park of roller coaster up and downs.
Yeah. I think it's been drivers realizing that perfection is so close, but on the other side of it is concrete walls. And that's what we're seeing.
That's a brilliant analogy. I like that.
Yeah, perfection is right there, but it runs along a concrete wall, and they're just overreaching a bit.
Yeah, and I mean, that concrete wall is a fine line, because if you're too deep into it, you're losing points, and if you're not close enough to it, you're losing points.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's been the second outside zone that's been catching people, really. A little bit on the inside clips, but not a ton. And you know, you can lose a lot on outside zone too. As we talked about before, the way the judges have this broken down is it's 4 sectors. So, you know, breaking into quarters. And essentially, if you're going too deep or you're too shallow, you start to lose points off your line score. That's how the judges have broken down. The drivers all collectively asked, hey, we'd love to get some more transparency on how you judge line. And we had a great drivers meeting.
Right,
and they really did. They went zone by
because
Get everything back together for this.
they're doing a lot of talking.
Scenery in the background just making its way off the track. The lights go amber and they go green.
Let's
and
go,
Nakamura
now
comes
you
off the line, screams through the gears, goes for a big flick across the circuit, right to the edge of the track. wheel to curb and bumper to wall right now from Nakamura, unscathed so far as he puts the hammer down now, starts to drive through the middle part of the circuit, looks to go wide, and he certainly does. Spoiler over the wall for Nakamura, he's going for it right now, right to the edge of the tarmac. Nakamura's on an absolute flyer, big angle transition, puts it to the wall and across the line.
Every single square inch of this track, this man was just dominating through. That run was spicy. It was hard in the angles. It was right into the wall. It was using every single bit that he could find. This is up there. This has got to be up there, especially on the style side of things. I mean, for a driver that had a rough year, you could not tell anymore. This is right back to form. This is exactly why it was so exciting when he announced he was coming over. This is what you wanted. This is what I signed up for, is this type of driving. Nakamura, I mean, bringing such an amazing Japanese style to drifting. This is so quintessential Japanese drifting, right? Big, floaty style, but still aggressive. Wow, look at that. I mean, popping off the whole way through. What a great shot. Perfectly in focus, too. Such a hard thing to do. I'm just nerding out about everything. I just love it, man. I mean, look at this
proposal. We've got another proposal at Drift Masters. Will she say yes? Will she put the ring on? She does. Finland, give them a round of applause. That's the second proposal. Finland brings the love and the joy and the good drifting.
Right after Naoki.
Wow, another proposal at Drift Masters. What's going on? Where is it? Oh, it's a 97! Nakamura comes in third in qualifying at the moment. A 97. This man could be unstoppable this weekend. We know he's deadly at the chase. We've got to keep the action flowing, though. Zakaril sits on the line with a 90.5 on his first qualifying run. What can he do on the second? You've got chills.
Goosebumps, man.
We've got it all going on in Finland this weekend. Proposals, drifting, crashes, the whole lot. If you aren't here, you're missing it. Zakaril fires that car in that 2 Series Volkswagen 2-litre underneath the bonnet, hammering round the circuit as Zakaril now puts foot to floor, flicks that car across the track, goes nice and deep into outside zone 4 as he comes down the hill. Big speed, can he keep it on the circuit? He goes, drops a wheel into the
he saved it, he saved it.
Once again, puts a bumper to the wall across the line.
Absolutely saved that. I thought that was it. I thought it was over. Got into the dirt, thought he was going to shoot off into the wall, but Marko Zakaril, man, just riding the lightning all the way through this, because every part of this looked like he was ready to crash. The car was either going to spin out.
He was holding on.
Yeah, he was holding on that whole way through. That little engine, though, man, he's on to something here.
Hey, don't talk bad about that little engine.
It is phenomenal. I might have to load up on those when I get back home. But look at 90 degrees in the dirt, back on throttle, shoots it across. So hard to keep into it. You know you've made a mistake at that point, and you could just give up. But no, Marko stays in it, finishes up the run with style, adds angle all the way through. What a competitor. What a drive.
Yeah, Zakaril known for that style. We've seen glimpses of Zakaril in the past come through. We see it in Germany and Ferropolis many years ago, where he was so close to getting on the podium and the car let him down, and he's been struggling with that ever since. And we know this man has got the drive in him. We know what he can produce as a driver. Look at him, he smiles, he's feeling good. He said that this new engine package for 2025 could be the key that he needs for success, and so far it's working. What can Zakaril do? I don't know if the judges are going to favour it better than a 90.5. Then wheels off circuit will be points deducted. He was way off that qualifying line. Yeah, there we go, an 81.5 on his second qualifying run. Stays where he is, 19th position with a 90.
Wow.
Let that sink in for a
crazy.
moment. Let that sink in. We go back to the line. Kevin Pascolti from Hungary sits on the line, gives us the thumbs up. He's dialed, he's in the zone. He said he absolutely loves Keski-Korpi. Well, can he follow the run? Can he mirror that run? He sits with a 90 at the moment. And what can he do? 21st position for Pascolti at the moment, flicks that car in big grip. You can hear those tyres hanging on as he gets himself in an outside zone. The V8 screams with that supercharger bolting to the top as he flicks it through the middle of the circuit. Nice and wide, lights up the tyres as Pascolti puts that car right to the edge of the tarmac. Opens the throttle once again as Pascolti puts it into the outside zone. One more zone to go and across the line.
Yeah, grunts it through that run, paints the walls at the back of the bumper, really pushing it. we're seeing a mix-up of drivers going with a lot of speed and a lot of aggression and kind of dialing it back a little bit. And I feel like he dialed back just a touch here to try and get the car aimed a little bit more to maybe find a few more points. I don't know where those points are hiding on this track right now, but every driver is trying to find it. Some are looking a little too deep, some are looking a little too shallow. A little bit of a hesitation there, but overall, the consistency and trying different things is what you want to see. You want to figure out, okay, what if I transition a little bit later? What does that do? Well, in this case, it shallows you up a little bit. But having to experiment like that is key, especially if you're confident that you're in the show. Why not try something a little bit different? It might change the way you attack the track. And I really feel like Kevin Piscotty is doing that in this. So is it going to translate to something that's going to be higher than a 90? Not entirely sure, but what it is it's showing that he's trying to find new ways, he's trying to progress, and just, getting out there and doing something a little bit different as we start to see some dark clouds rolling in once again. It was around this time last time when this happened, but isn't able to better his score.
No, an 86.5 drops in for Kevin Piscotty. On me, as you say, those clouds now start rolling in. We are forecast rain through the night here in Finland, and we go back on the line with Torin and Kvyat. See that signal? He did the 2 hands forward. What can that mean? He did the John Travolta move there as he fires that car in, and look at this from Kvyat right into that outside zone, nice and early, scrapes the back end along the wall as Kvyat now puts foot down, fires through the middle of the circuit, looks for this outside zone and goes very deep to it, scrubs the whole back end along the wall as Kvyat now works his way around, second to last outside zone, foot to floor once again as Kvyat goes to the wall.
This is going to be up there. I'm calling it right now. This is going to be up there. He's got that line dialed. He's getting the angle all the way through the track. He drives with such an aggressive style. It looks mean. It looks angry. It looks like he's going to crash at any single moment within this run. Torin Kvyat is... he is up there as one of the best drivers on this track at any moment. When he decides to turn it on, when the car is running well, when the setup is dialed, he is so difficult to beat. It's crazy what he's able to do with this car. It's also crazy this thing is still holding together because he's rubbing the bumpers through every single zone that he can. He finds a wall, decides he wants to paint it pink.
Well, I think most of the suppliers of duct tape in the area are completely sold out because the paddock has every roll.
Between that and zip ties, man, there is not much left on the shelves.
Yeah, Finland's out. If you're coming to Finland for zip ties and duct tape,
if you're flying in, bring some with you.
Yeah, or go to Sweden or Norway because that's probably the only place left. We're just going to quickly evaluate on something that we missed. Diogo Correa has a hole in a piston, so he missed his second qualifying run. So stays where he is at the moment. Score drops in a 93.5 for Kvyat. Slight improvement, but he stays where he is. Look at this. First thing he does, congratulates the team and says, well, we are more than in the show.
Come on, Peter.
Look at this. We go onto the line to a very nervous Piotr Wojciech right now. 24th position and 88 on his first qualifying score as the light now starts to fall in Finland. What are we going to get from the Polishman as he puts that car right where it needs to be? Absolutely lights up the scoreboard so far as Wojciech now fulfills that inner zone, fires towards the wall. Look at this, nice and deep. He looks like he's got this one dialed as he comes down the hill, picks up that line perfectly as Wojciech fires that car through that second to last outside zone. Up the wall he goes. That's beautiful from the Polishman.
Yeah, beautiful is the best way to put it. He's able to hold onto the angle through this run like nobody else is. Fills those zones, holds it, and then snap transition at the last moment to get into the next zone. When it comes to head-to-head battles and it's looking like he's going to make it there, it is going to be very difficult to compete with Piotr Wojciech. He drives with such a different way, and some of it is this car. The way that this car transitions is so different than anything else because of how far back the driver is. And it really does allow you to hold it. Look at how long he's on angle and then just snaps in. That is so difficult to do because if that car does not release, if that transition does not happen, all you're doing is plowing right into the wall.
Yep.
It takes a lot of I'm trying to find the right word here. Skill. It takes that. It takes a lot of things to be able to drive the car the way that Piotr Wojciech does because, man, it is not it's not an easy car to drive the way he does.
No, it's
so difficult.
It's certainly not. It is very, very difficult. And it takes skill and experience. And he doesn't even wait for his score. He says, you know what it is, and it's a 97.2 for Piotr Wojciech. eye check as he jumps himself way up the order and now puts himself, cements himself inside that top 5. We go back to the start line to an 82.5 of Pontus Hartmann, which is out of top 32. 35th position at the moment. Pontus Hartmann, he knows what he needs to do. The man that nearly didn't make it to Finland fires through. Tyres are alight from the start line all the way through to the second outside zone. A little tag on the wall, but he doesn't let it upset him now as Hartmann puts foot to floor, fires through that inner zone, waits for the car to adjust on angle, now picks up the throttle once again. Down the hill he comes, absolutely flying is Hartmann. They've all got this line absolutely dialed, driver on driver, car to car across the wall.
Yeah, we said he was going to have to go harder. We said that earlier, that he was a little bit shy on this, which we understand. When you don't think you're going to make it to an event, the first thing you want to do on your qualifying run is just get something down. Just try and be safe, because you've had all these crazy things happen to you before you even pulled the trailer into the parking lot. But now is the time to go crazy, and Pontus does this here. This is what I was expecting from his first run, and he pulls it out in the second one after laying down a decent one that might have gotten him in the show. But, you know, now with the way the scores are climbing, he is going to need something epic. What's our breaking point right now? An 84. 84 is what's going to get, or above an 84. And really, you want to be in the 90s. Yeah. So that's the number right now. We'll update you as we go. But 84 is the magic number. I mean, 84.5, really, because you're going to need to do better than the driver that's currently sitting on the bubble, which is Ville Kankunen. And can Pontus Hartmann do it? And right. Two drivers still.
So we're going to see Jason Benet now fire in this 2JZ powered GT86, puts that car right where it needs to be. As Benet comes down the hill, absolutely full tilt, puts that car right to the edge of the circuit, flicks it big angle as he holds onto it, and Benet doing everything he can, fires it on angle across the line.
Yeah, firing through it right on the rev limiter, popping and banging the entire time. Jason Benet just drives with so much heart and passion and just everything big and loud and crazy. And you see it from the run, right from initiation, all the way through the gears, on it, lighting the tires up as soon as he can, and holds it all the way through the zone. A little bit of a left foot brake there. You can see the rear taillights lighting up, showing that he's just trying to keep this thing under control, trying to hold back the speed and the grip that he's getting out of this car, almost going off track, flicking it through the other zone. I mean, this drone angle really shows you the craziness, the chaos that is drifting, and Jason Benet just trying to wrangle it all the way through from start to finish. Wild from Jason Benet.
That wall run camera and the ability that these drivers have to get that close.
I don't even like parking that close to somebody. I can't even park in my garage like that.
So there we go, an 88.5 for Jason Benet, second qualifying run, keeps him in the show, 24th position, does move up the order ever so slightly. We go down now to David Spossum, who is out. One of the two drivers, you said two drivers?
Yep.
One of the two drivers are out of the show at the moment. Spossum needs, at the moment, an 84.5 or better to get himself into top 32 tomorrow as he flicks this S15 across it shallow on that first outside zone. Can he work it into the second outside zone a little deeper? And he can. He keeps that bumper away from the wall. Now on and off the throttle. You can see him modulating it from the tyre smoke as he works his way across the circuit into outside zone 4. Fires down the circuit, looks for the outside zone, collects it perfectly on those hash marks as he gets himself into that second to last outside zone, the final one across the line.
He was building confidence with the run. You could feel the hesitation in the driving in the beginning, and as he got through every zone and collected just another sector of this track, more confidence, more speed, carrying more momentum. He was carrying so much to the midsection of that track. He was floating the car out completely sideways. That initiation looked a little bit scary. First outside zone, gets a little bit more confidence, and as he comes through, you can see it getting a bit more speed. But just the speed that he was carrying was absolutely enough from Spossum. I don't know of anybody else that really was able to hold that momentum through the entire track the way he was. Swinging the back end of that car around. I bet you a smile was growing as he got through that run, because he really got everything collected as he came across the line. But is it going to be too little too late? Are those first few zones and the mistakes that were there not going deep enough? Is that going to be the difference between making it into the show and packing it in the trailer?
Well, he did. He got himself into the show, an 88.5 again, and look at the smile. Look what it means to the young Polishman as his team go over and congratulate him. Relief.
I felt it for him.
Yeah, relief for Spossop. But we go to the line to the only man left not in the show. Everyone after this is in top 32. So once this run is done, we will have our top 32 grid dialed. Sitting on a 0, Oran Nilsson from Norway fires through in this Toyota Sora. What can he do? He tickles the tyre wall with the back end of the Sora, now plants it against the wall as Nilsson knows this is it. It's a do or die run for the Norwegian as he hammers through the middle of the circuit, gets nice and close to the wall. Nilsson knows it needs to be calculated, it needs to have line and style and flair, and he needs to impress the judges. He manages to put it right to the edge of the circuit across the line.
Oran Nilsson is not making this easy on anybody. Anybody that's on the bubble right now is not an Oran Nilsson fan, because yeah, Fionn Roche, that's who's right now looking at this going, am I going to be in the show tomorrow? It is in the hand of the Norwegian in a Toyota Sora who just laid down a heater of a run. It's such a big car too. Very dynamic. You can see every little mistake. That's the hard part when you get into these longer cars, is it takes a little bit longer to get into the zones. It takes a little bit longer to transition. I have to drive a little bit quicker to really spice things up. But Oran Nilsson has been driving this thing for so long. There is nobody who drives a Sora like he does. Able to get through it, getting deep into those zones, but is it going to be enough? Yeah. I really don't know anymore.
No, and you know what? Before you could have called it. If the scores were, you know, a lot lower, you probably could have said,
at this.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
Absolute beauty. Well, it needs to get himself an 85 or more. And what's it going to be? It's a 92 for Oran Nilsson, who gets himself into top 32. And that is the grid set. No more people will change. All that's going to change now is the order. Who will end up top of qualifying as we head into the heavy hitters of the championship of 2025. Focus dialed, he clicks on the anti-lag button as he gets ready to leave the line in this 2JZ powered BMW, kicks the clutch across the circuit as Juha now puts the wheel on the curb, uses it to guide himself across the circuit into this outside zone, full throttle, but he's away from that wall. He's keeping it safe. Is Juha as he fires through, looks for outside zone 4 and fulfills it. Beautiful. He looks out the side window, down the hill he comes, collects those dots, collects those outside zones, dials it on angle, technical. It's beautiful from Juha Pointalaxo.
Yeah, really dialed run from a driver that's being crazy, being somebody's
starts to bump up the order, a 93 for you. Yes, we go back to the start line, to the man that won this event, the man that is trying to defend the championship. It is, of course, Laurie Heinen in this incredible Dodge supercharged V8 S13. He comes off the line screaming through the gears, a 94. He'll want to be up there in the show. Big angle, big flick, big commitment as he puts the back end of that 180SX right to the wall, all the way around as Laurie Heinen now fires through the middle of the circuit. Wall run once again, the tailgate pops open as he fires down the hill. This is unbelievable from Laurie Heinen, but will the judges favour the wall runs as he crosses the line?
Just committed to putting on a show from the get-go. Light goes green and Laurie goes, I want to repaint this track. I want to start fresh. I'm going to make sure that everything is going. Look at this right off the bat. No, very little wheel spin too. That launch is nuts. It's so difficult to do in a drift car. For a car that wants to break traction this whole time, he's got this thing dialed. Look at the front wheel, barely even moving. I don't understand how he can be this solid through this run. It is absolutely wild. So controlled, so calm and patient through the whole thing. And on the outside, just madness and chaos and body parts going everywhere. While behind the wheel, Laurie Heinen just relaxed and chill. It makes no sense to me the way that he's able to drive this car. It is almost unhuman what he's able to do through this run.
It's unbelievable. You watch it back now, you look at the replay and you see where he positions the car, how he puts the car, where it is, how far into the zones he's going. The only thing that I can see the judges marking down this is how deep he's into those zones. We'll wait for the score. Look at that. Even Connor Shanahan says,
wow.
You know what? That was a good run.
That's almost a concern, Shanahan.
He smiles and waves to the camera. Will he top qualifying at his home event, or will he be in?
Bro, he's taking 3rd position.
Those high scores that we've seen so far as Heinlein awaits that score to drop in. The Finnish fans are ready for this one. This place will erupt if he tops qualifying or if he even gets close. And yep, they hold out the sign, V8. Well, here we go, score drops in. It's going to be a 94.5. And he says, you know what, I'm happy with that. 2 consistent scores. And Heinlein says, I couldn't have done it better myself.
That's crazy.
it's wild. It's just wild.
I was not expecting that. That run was insane.
Back bumper on the all the way around that wall.
Everybody up this
place. Oh, you need it.
I gotta get to work, so we're gonna have to.
That's what I find. He's happy with that 5.
Alright, here's it.
Slams a GR8.
Nothing to run and see it. That we get into clean
single
run.
In for tomorrow.
Yeah, happy with into 15th position. As he is on the outside zone, locks.
Okay, we can't skip that.
The last driver without a 90 points on the board so far. It will be Falvey. He'll want to jump himself up the order as he kicks that car across the circuit. Big clutch kick, and you can hear that car.
Come on,
dialed
Falvey.
in as he focuses on the outside zone, locks up the foot brakers. Connor Falvey now watched every other person's qualifying run and said, I know I can do what they can do, and I know I can take it to the edge of the circuit. And Falvey puts bumper to wall, down he comes over the hill, slows that car down, but still on throttle as he now puts it through that second to last outside zone. 1 more to go as he dials on the angle.
Looking for risk, man.
Come
Looking
on,
for every little bit.
Come on.
He was kind of taunting the track all the way through. You know, just comes in, he's like, I'm going to try this, and like just dive in at a few things. So he's hunting for that 90 for sure.
Yeah.
Connor really wants to move up. I mean, being in the mid-pack is such a tough battle here.
Well, he's 29th.
I know. Like, yeah, he's going to be going up against, I mean, just an absolute heavy hitter. But I don't know if that's better or worse at this point, because the mid-pack is nuts. The only upside with being lower down is, you know, the driver you're going to go against, you can chase incredibly hard.
Yeah.
Whoever it is, like if he doesn't move positions at all right now, he's going to be going up against a driver that you know you can door the entire run. They're not going to play games. They're going to be wild. There is a little bit of an advantage of being down in that section, but not much.
Come on,
there
judges.
we go, Falvey out of the car, waiting for that score to drop in. Dave Egan straight over there, saying to him that was perfect. You can see him giving him that sign, saying that was his father with him there, Tomas Falvey, and the rest of the team as they eagerly await the score to drop in. Can he break the 86.5 curse? Can he move himself up the order as Falvey awaits the score to drop in? Judges type it in to their pads. What's it going to be for the young gun, the rookie of the year in 2024? Falvey score drops into the system.
Yes!
So 91.5, and Falvey jumps himself into 22nd position with a 91.5.
That could be top qualifier at a lot of events. Someone could get a 91.5 and be the top qualifier.
That's
easily.
Good. Nothing to be upset about. As long as he makes
What's going on?
Well, we'll get more into that conversation after we finish qualifying, but we go back to the line to Connor Shanahan, who sits with a 93, who comes off the line. He knows what he needs to do. This man won a championship in 2023 as he looks out the window at the outside zone. Look at that, flexes what's left of the tailgate and throws it up over the wall. As Connor Shanahan now
Shanahan right there.
in front of the Finnish fans here.
He saw what Laurie did, he saw what McKibben did, he saw
Look
what
at the
James
speed
did.
he's
He's
carrying.
like, I gotta do
as
the
Shanahan puts that car right where it needs to be, stands on the throttle once again, up to the wall and across the line.
Wow. I mean, hold my trunk, right?
Oh,
just do something completely different. Hugs the trunk over the wall. Right to the media guys. Hey, get a photo of this. I hope someone got that, because that is absolutely epic. Man, Connor Shanahan, when he feels like he's behind, when he feels like he has something to push for and drive for, is unstoppable. Like, just able to get through this run. There goes the trunk, on throttle all the way through, no hesitation, floats the car out when he needs to. It is just wild. I mean, going back and rewatching battles, him and Jack here in 2023, those were some of the most epic battles. This is the first finals that they had together in their entire career, was right here in Finland. And man, I'm excited to see what else he's able to do this weekend, because if this is any indication of what the battles are going to be like, it is going to be such a long day. We might be having the longest day with one more times if this stays up. I mean, the pack is so tight right now. I don't know Normally you can come through some of these and be like, I have a favorite. I think this driver's going to do well. No idea.
No idea.
No idea.
No idea. Earlier on in practice, we kind of hedged our own bets.
Yeah, we had a couple ideas.
We had a couple of ideas. It was looking strong and it was looking good. And then qualifying rocked the boat because we both sat here earlier after the first qualifying round and was like, I have no idea now. I have no idea because everyone's so good. And look at that, a 94.5. He shakes his head. He's not happy with the score as Shanahan walks away in disgust and gets back into that 86. He said a 94.5. Is that it? We go to the start line to the man that is currently leading qualifying, a 98.5. Can he do better?
I think he can. I really do.
Well, he had a perfect line score. We know he's got it in there. What else can he do? What else can the machine do as he fires through in his brand new Mustang Spec 5 DM RTR as Dean puts back into one, flexes the carbon fiber, pushes that car across the circuit, goes for the wall once again, flexes the back bumper on that Mustang once again, down the hill he comes, collects the dots, flicks it into that second to last outside zone. Dean, foot brake locked on the wall across the line. It's a
watch. You're about to go.
Oh man, we're going to write textbooks about his driving because this is how you compete. He knows he can get a perfect line score, and I actually think he might have sacrificed a 0.5 or a 1 point just to get more angle and just to get more style to see if he can top that score. There was one spot that I thought he floated out a little bit, but James Dean just caution to the wind. We're so jaded by how good he is and how much he has elevated this sport across the globe. The only person that's able to stop him is him. It's very rare that he loses in any sort of heads-up battle. It's usually some kind of crazy, weird mistake that he makes, but it's so rare to find it. But man, this run is just another masterclass in how to drive in this sport. Wild. I think maybe 1 point down on line and a couple of points more in style. We'll see. It's going to be so close.
Well, it's been a while, and I can't remember the last 99 we had. Did we ever have a 99? I'm trying to think back. You watched all of Drift Masters the last 4 years, so
I do think there was one 99.
There was one 99.
Yeah.
I think we have seen a 99 before. Can we get the biggest ever score here at Drift Masters this weekend? The score drops in. It's a 90.5.
Wow, okay.
The judges didn't
4
like
points
it as
on
much.
that.
It was
Right.
soft.
Okay.
Man.
So he stays where he is, leading qualifying at the moment. Jack Shanahan sits on the line. He's going to need to do better than. I mean, a 98.5 to top qualifying, or a 98 to come second. Shanahan, Jack Shanahan off the start line through the gears. Toyota GT86 to Jay-Z, and look at this is big aggression. Shanahan into the wall. Look at that, almost wheel onto the wall as he absolutely comes out swinging. Shanahan flicks that car through. He goes for the other wall now, outside zone 4. Down the hill he comes as he puts on big angle, but it's a perfect line from Shanahan as he dials that car in an angle, that second last outside zone, onto the wall and across the line.
Just so impressive. I know someone told him, okay, this is what you need to do. This is what James's run was like. We would have gone back and rewatched it, but yeah, quintessential Jack Shanahan run here. The e-brake pull timed perfectly running along the curb was kind of one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
Just, it comes off, let's go, gets back on throttle, as you said, running literally the wheel into the wall.
Tail light as well.
Oh man, there's no room on the back end of these cars. By choosing to drive this car, there is an inherent disadvantage that you have no run out room at the very back. So if you get into the wall, you're literally running your tire against it. And even still, they make it look seamless. It's absolutely crazy. There's no room for error in these cars.
No, there is no room. No room for error.
There's nothing.
We've seen that before.
Look at, he's touching the wheel to the wall.
Yeah, we've seen that before at these events where GT86s have been a disadvantage.
Right.
You touch the wall with the wheel, you can put the front end in, you shatter the wheel, DB the tyre, you're out of competition. Jack's happy with that run, he's smiling, he's laughing. He said, I don't think I had much more to give right there.
He had a blast.
He had a lot of fun. Can he improve on that first score? And he can. A 95.2, jumps himself into 5th position. He puts his thumbs up. He's happy with that one. As we see some incredible scores, we get into the top 3 in the championship right now. It starts off with Kevin Purser, the Estonian driver, sits on the line nodding. Look at this, he's focused, visor slam. Anyone else to last outside zone?
It's because any
No offense against Kevin Purser, it's just, I gotta get to work.
Mile 17.5.
95, good.
Flicks it to the second.
Okay, he's fine.
And aggressive too hard, so almost nothing.
Weekend.
Okay.
And man, the level of competition.
He also makes it, okay.
346 fires it in. Nice
runner.
run so far from
he was.
Randall, puts that car right into that zone. You can see him fighting with the steering wheel though, trying not to let that wall run upset the front wheels too much as he now looks for outside zone 4. Nice and deep, the tailgate popping open a little bit to the last anyone.
Especially another on speed that you just event on and stay in the top.
Championship is done and dusted, and Oliver Randall will say, look, if as long as I climb up the order and claim some of those points, will he get into the top 5 and claim some of those 8 points available for qualifying? He can. Jumps into 5th place for 95.5, he said.
All right. That's it.
Split second qualifying.
Top
We're
32.
standing out 20 points. No qualifying pure.
All right, that's it.
More and more inspiring that we are living through the history in this sport and seeing the dominance that James Dean has. Now, he is not perfect, though. He's not getting 100% every time. He has lost battles. He will continue to lose battles. And new and exciting stars will rise up and start to take some of these.
No run, and he's disappointing. I think you could see 90 points.
Judges are going to be super cool to see.
Will he be ahead in the game?
Super cool to see.
Well, here we go. Sidem left for Dean, right for Nakamura. Who's going to take it through? It's going to be Noki. Nakamura takes the win. That transition perfectly. Dials on the angle. Almost couldn't slow the car down. Dean puts himself back into position and Nakamura takes it to the wall.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Okay.
It's down the back.
Listen, it's this is
Connor Falvey.
That right there. That's where we're finishing up top 32 with. That is going to be super interesting. The new young blood versus the old young blood.
Okay, they were at the same point system, so they had to figure out which
we're going to get treated tomorrow to some incredible battles. I can't wait. I literally can't wait. Right, from us here in Finland at Drift Masters, we're going to finish off the show with Timo Peltola taking his incredible Mercedes-Benz show car, full carbon fibre show car out on track to do a few runs, a bit of a demo run for the last finish fans that are still in attendance here, and maybe even a passenger run. Well, there we go. 12:45 tomorrow, local time here in Finland at the Power Park, exclusively live on Red Bull TV. We'll see you there.